Know what you found in your basement. Anything good?
Nothing good. So I had a large collection of history books from my college studies, that was stored in a what became a damp corner of my basement. So unfortunately, they were all totally trashed. A bunch of books that I've had since for years were sadly ruined. I had to get rid of them. I actually ended up like I cleared a lot of stuff out, man. Once you get older and you have some kids and I mean you have a house, like you just start to like gather stuff for no reason. So I basically hoed out like literally an entire 15-yard dumpster of stuff out of my basement, and it felt real good. I went Marie Kondo down there. You know what I mean? Really made sure that the things I kept sparked joy. So it went
So,
well.
so were you an episode of Hoarder's Bed or just a run of the
Oh
mill?
no,
No, all
no,
right.
it wasn't that bad. It was just like, I had like an old bedroom set down there that we had for like a guest room, but then the guest room became a kid's playroom, so the bedroom set went in the basement. And then like, just actually there was some stuff left from the previous owners, like some bicycles and stuff, and just a bunch of junk. So it felt real good to get it all out, man. Felt real
Nice,
good.
nice. So
Yeah.
while you were alone in the basement with your thoughts, did you come up with any ways to break legacy?
So there's that two drop red card, and I can't remember the name of it right now.
The dread horde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I've been thinking about playing. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because there was a good article that came out on Channel Fireball. I don't know if it was this week or last week, but it was basically a breakdown of how the meta shaped up at GP Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And so he had a really cool chart, basically like this chart that had like I think it was something like 700 results throughout the GP. And so like the, one axis had like Stoneblade went, and then it'll have like a graph across, then it'll say like versus Stoneblade versus Blue Red Delver or whatever. And so I was just like, it was cool to look down, because I realized like before, and that's something I want your opinion on, because you and I have battled Blue Red Delver versus Turbo Depths on more than one occasion, or Bug Depths more than one occasion, and you always have the upper hand, and you feel very solidly that it's a matchup that is very much in your favor. But then like the latest evolution of the Blue Red Delver decks has been running like some True Nemesis, but more importantly, Wastelands. And so I tested that matchup a couple times leading up to the GP with the Wasteland deck, and it felt a lot better. Like I was winning. I was winning the majority of my matchups, and I was just surprised at how much like having four of Wastelands seemed to swing the that matchup in my favor. And the results from the GP, and again, there weren't like a ton of results, but Blue Red Delver went 17-8 versus Turbo Depths. So like that seems like a much better kind of matchup to me than it was in the past. I was just curious, like how you think. Like I don't know how much Blue Red you've played against lately online, but how do you feel like that matchup has been against you guys?
Okay. Well, when you say you guys, there's basically a handful of us that run this deck, and
Yes.
then there's the other two versions, which are much more popular.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about GP results, I would be surprised if there was more than one player, if even one player, that was on bug at the GP.
Gotcha.
So when they label turbo depths, I also think they just lumped everything together.
Yep.
So I think it was basically slow depths and turbo depths got lumped into turbo depths, and those are very different plans. The the combination from a blue red perspective for that particular matchup, when a good chunk, I would say slow depths is more popular by like a decent margin right now than turbo. So when the depths deck slows down, and then the blue red deck, which is kind of like a burn deck to a certain
Yeah.
degree,
Totally. Yeah.
when that deck adds wastelands, it adds an additional speed bump for the slow depths deck. And on top of that, you're trying to burn them out, and they're giving you more time because
Right.
their deck has less tutors. It's going to combo early less consistently. So, not to mention the fact that they're also running for Dark Confidants, which, when
Yeah. That's
you're basically running at them with quick creatures and burn, and
Yep.
they're hitting themselves with fetch lands and Dark
yeah.
Confidants. And
That's
so,
what I was gonna say. Is like it
I
seems
think
like
it's a
Bob would turn that
I don't
in
think
favor.
I don't think the matchup's 66% or whatever the numbers work out for from the GP. It was a pretty small sample size, and
Right.
again, you're lumping both decks in, so we don't know what the turbo versus blue red was versus slow versus blue red. But I'm guessing
Sure.
a good chunk of those wins came from blue red against turbo, and depending on the versions of blue red too, because some people are running a main deck Vapor Snag or a couple additional answers in the back. Yep. That wasn't necessarily standard before. So if the blue-red deck is running a main deck bounce spell for Wastelands now, the depths deck slowed down, and then on top of that, a lot of the blue-red versions are boarding in another bounce spell or a couple copies of Blood Moon or both. So I think the blue-red deck just has, back when we used to play, back when like the Community League was a thing.
Yeah.
The blue-red deck was 0 Wastelands, 0 bounce spells in the main deck, and maybe a couple Blood Moons and a bounce spell on the board. That was just an atrocious matchup versus Turbo Depths. I think the deck's adapted where it's set up to play versus it better, and the Depths deck is slowed down and is damaging itself more with Thoughtseize, Dark Confidant, Fetch Lands, and I think all of that combines to more or less make the matchup significantly more. I mean, I haven't played it from either the slow depth side or the traditional turbo side, so I don't know, but I would think that blue-red is just in a much, much better spot against it than it used to be.
Yeah, it certainly felt that way when I played, like I said, just a handful of test games the night before the GP. But it felt good to have Wasteland in the deck. It's a card that I don't often play with, but against like the depth decks, it seems to have has a lot of legs. It can hold them up for a couple turns while they dig for an answer to a Wasteland. So, but yeah, it's been good, man. And how's life been for you, buddy?
Kind of tired. It's been a long week. Had depositions today at work, so that was. Yeah, that sounds about as exciting as it is. And, so, ready for the weekend to start.
For sure, man, for sure.
So, no pressure, but we haven't lost with this deck in a while on stream. So,
well, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll turn that right around for you, Tom.
If it happens tonight, we have nobody to blame but you.
I'm used to it. I live for it, man. Let's do it.
All right. Oh, thanks for the host, Arkin.
Yeah, man, it felt like a long week. I work in retail, but I actually have both days off this weekend. Just happens to be both days off before I start my new job next week, so it worked out so well. So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
There you go. What were you doing?
So Saturday, my kids have soccer games in the early afternoons, so I'm gonna do a little bit more cleaning in the basement in the morning because that's gonna be my tomb apparently, and then I'm gonna go to the soccer games, and then after that I'm gonna rewire some of my basement. I'm gonna put some new lights in and put new receptacles in and stuff, and then send the kids off with my father for the night, and my wife and I are gonna do a date night and maybe catch a movie and have a nice adult time, without the kids, and then Sunday, I think Sunday's just free play. We're gonna do whatever we feel like on Sunday. So looking forward to the weekend, man.
You sound like you've been fully domesticated.
I am. Yes, yeah, that's 100% true. I'm about as domestic as it gets, my friend.
Well, as long as you still have time to record your wonderful podcast, do whatever else makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we have an editor now, so my involvement is basically just show up on Monday nights. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Do you know if your children are Jedis or Sith yet?
I would say that
Arkin needs to know.
My oldest is for sure a Jedi, and my younger one is for sure a Sith. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just Boba Fett. Like that's just, I have it tattooed to my arm. I have it tattooed to my back. He's my favorite Star Wars character. Actually, speaking of podcasts, Arkin was mentioned on the was not Everyday Eternal, the one from Brian Cook.
Eternal Glory.
Yeah. Yes, Eternal Glory podcast. They were talking about Arkin, and I didn't realize he was a huge, I haven't gotten to check his stream before. I didn't realize he was a huge Star Wars fan, so I have to 100% follow him and get in there because Star Wars has been a big part of my life, and it's a big part of my kids' lives.
So we immediately go ahead. We immediately have an interesting decision.
Okay.
Whether so we want to cast Thoughtseize here before they get something silly into play on turn 2, like a Chalice or, God help us, a Sorcerer's Spyglass or something like that. So we can either get Underground Sea or Bayou. Underground Sea enables Brainstorm set up with a Shuffle, which is nice for turn 2 to look for additional disruption or discard. But if we do that, we can't combo them necessarily on turn 3 with the crop rotation. So it's an interesting spot right off the bat.
Yeah. How much post have you played against? Like the new.
They're all
post
different.
decks?
Like I've played a bunch of them, but I played Arkin on the green version, like with the crop rotations and Caracas and cards like that. And then I've played against the Karn version. Then I've played against the version without the Karn. That's just all draws. Like they're all. I don't know that we can tell much from just Cloud Post, other than it's probably I would guess off the top it's probably the Karn version, which I think we want to go for speed here, so I'm just going to grab the Bayou.
Okay.
And we don't want to delay the combo at all. I mean, it's possible we brainstorm into like a Mox Diamond and it doesn't matter, but I like to be sure. So it is the.
Oh yeah.
So. So we're not.
So are you a streamer who like clips their hand, or do you write it down? Because I always write it down because that's what I do in paper.
You mean
and I play a ton more paper than I do of Magic Online.
You mean the opponent's hand?
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, Magic Online does it for you unless it's surgical.
Oh sure.
So.
Well, see, that shows you how efficient I am with my Magic Online.
Yeah, this is going to be unfortunate. I don't think we can just go straight for a turn 3 combo because he's going to play Karn and Tutor for Ensnaring Bridge. So unfortunately, I think we have to slow down and fetch for an Underground Sea and brainstorm and hope to either hit a discard spell, hit a discard spell or a needle to take it, or worst case scenario, we can crop rotation for a wasteland and try and slow them down. But this is an awkward. The double Karn opener is annoying.
Yes. Are they just playing like are they playing 4 of in that list?
I'm pretty sure they're most of them. I think there were some lists here and there that like was running 2 or 3, but it's crazy not to run 4 in this list, in my opinion, anyway.
Hitting duress here is pretty great, right?
Yeah, that's one of the cards we're looking for. So,
I guess you have a lot of discard, right? Because you have a handful of duress and Thoughtseize plus the needles, so you have some answers to that card you can brainstorm into.
Yeah. So. This is odd.
What are your thoughts here?
Well, I'm thinking about like doing something crazy and shuffling a couple tutors away during our upkeep next turn, just to get additional looks at. Yeah, I guess we don't need. No matter what, we don't need both scrying. So. So that was their draw.
Seems fine. So we can just combo them out next turn, right? Or I guess the following turn.
Yeah, so the problem is they're going to be able to, most likely, if they draw it, they're going to be able to have an answer, even if we hit them. So we're going to have to most likely combo twice. That's really blood.
Blast Zone doesn't really do much against us, right? It seems.
Well, no, that's not why I was looking at it. I was trying to calculate whether we could get to 6 counters to destroy their Endbringer, which is probably what we have to do. You're laughing, but that's where we are.
No, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense. Can you crop rotate now for?
Yeah, I don't think I want the. Well, we don't need the depths because he can tap it forever.
Right, but he can't tap it until his next turn. I can't do the math in my head. Do you have enough? You don't have enough to make the guy now. is what I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
No, we're locked out of that at the moment. We only have one green source.
Right. I played a league earlier this week or last week, and came up against like the White Bomberman deck. That deck has been crazy. I got locked out of a couple different games with Karn Lattice, or yeah, the Karn Lattice combo, which feels sad.
I can't believe I'm about to do this.
Jeez. So you have access to what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8. So you have enough to make the blast zone, right? 8.
It's 2 turns away.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to work in the slightest. I mean, we could have gotten a wasteland and wastelanded 1, but that doesn't really do anything. That takes them down to... Yeah. That takes them down to 11 if we wastelanded one of their cloud posts. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Well, Did you drop out there for a minute, Pat?
Yeah, I don't think anyone can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Oh, I was muted for some reason and no one could hear me. All right. So I was talking, I'm talking. I'm like, oh, Tom doesn't seem very interested in what I'm talking about.
No, I figure it got a little quiet, but
Oh no, sorry about that. Yeah. No, I was just saying, I miss playing like the Endbringers in Eldrazi. It's a good card. Can't believe we're gonna do that.
gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
We don't need the extra mana. We're the post deck now.
something like that.
Arkin, I don't specialize in any deck. I'm not well, I should say I'm not an expert on any deck. But Blue Red Delver is the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart and legacy. I've been playing it for a few years now, but I will never classify myself as an expert. But it is my favorite deck to play. But I play a smattering of other stuff. I played Show and Tell and Grixis, and I've played Eldrazi, and played Rug for a very short amount of time. But I always find myself going back to Blue Red.
Yeah, I didn't have a stop on my end step. I did not want to let them.
Oh no!
I didn't want to let them untap, but oh well. We die because of that one extra card that's on me.
Oof.
Let's not give them Emrakul. That seems good.
Tom, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go make another drink.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that ought to do it. No, there's no Krakus in the deck. Krakus is in the sideboard.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem. We're just on our way to dying.
No. Oh yeah.
That's good, because they have us exactly 15, so they take our turn, attack with our Lodge, and whatever else they end up doing, and then just swing for 15. I do get a turn, but what are they going to exactly do in that spot? I could never actually swing because he has 15 on board.
What are we bringing to case for? Just needles?
No, I don't think they have needles. If they do, it's like
Or
a one
like-
of sideboard card. They'll have Sorcerer's Spyglass,
Oh, right.
Chalice, some various other cards, Trophy Hits, Karn, and Lattice, and all that, and Bridge. All those fun cards, too. I do not like Brainstorms against Chalice decks.
Mm-hmm. I have some very troubling news, though. Did you lose me again?
No, I got you. What's your trouble?
okay.
What's your troubling news, sir?
I ran out of Jameson. I thought I had more, but I'm out of Jameson. But thankfully, I played Captain Morgan.
You're gonna need to drink up a little bit more. This seems fine. Yeah, I think Lewin, the problem with going with that plan is he was going to clear out my hand too. So I'm assuming what he would do is scrying for my wasteland the other stage, which would leave me with next to nothing to set up a line that requires multiple attacks. All right, that seems good.
Yeah. That seems great. So, how much Magic Online have you been playing lately? Like against new war cards?
Hit and miss a little bit here and there. I've probably got like 4 or 5 leagues in.
Okay. What's he got?
Air.
Yeah, nothing. You just take his turn 1 play here?
Yeah. I was tempted to leave him with that because if he uses the Ancient Tomb, the Glimmer Post is offset. But, you know.
Arkin, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? This is going to include Caravan of Courage and other Ewok movie I can't recall. You can choose from any of them. There's no wrong answer, of course. But I'm always interested to hear what people enjoy about like their favorite movie. The Life Day special? Yeah, we can include the Life Day special, I'd say. That seems fine. I've actually never seen the holiday special. Somehow I've spared myself that, but what is it? What's the other Ewok movie? Caravan of Courage. I can't remember. 1 through 3 is best, but 4, 6 having most nostalgia. That you're the first person I've heard to say the prequels are the best. Ewok movies are excellent. They're just total fan service. I'm curious, Arkin, are you younger than I am? Because that's a bold statement. If you're younger than me, I can. If like that was like your introduction to the series, I can totally see that being relevant. No judging. No judging. Listen, man, it's all like how can you judge someone for liking something? You know, come on. Plus, it's Star Wars. There's no wrong answers. So you had just the ultra fast start in this one, Tom?
Yeah.
Well, relatively fast.
Relatively,
You had access to Abrupt Decay, which seems good.
Opponent just wants some information.
Yeah, I think three is a pretty good one. I like 1 through 3 just because they're great movies to show kids, because they're very much geared towards younger kids, which is awesome. I think they all have their merits. Rogue One is excellent. Tom, I'm sorry this has turned into a Star Wars stream, but
Arkin hosted. That's just assumed. I'm like half
Rogue One
asleep
is
anyway.
very good. Yes. Yeah, Rogue One's excellent. I honestly, I like all of them. The newer ones to me, I've really enjoyed. I got goosebumps when I went to go see Episode 7. It was pretty great.
This hand's really, really marginal. The reason it's keep is because they're on the play. If they chalice us on the play, we can still combo through it with scryings, but I'm not in love with this hand at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, it's nice having the Inquisition of Kozilek though. If we don't get turn 1 chalice, you have the Inquisition.
The problem with the Inquisition is it's actually the single worst discard spell in this matchup.
Right. Oh, just because it's the 3 mana or less.
It misses Thought Not Seer. It misses Karn. It misses a lot of key cards.
Yeah.
So.
That seemed to line up okay though.
So far, yeah.
Got lucky. Oh, lucky.
They have infinite mana still, so
yeah,
we're just gonna have to. Our draw's slow, so they're gonna get some. They're gonna get some looks.
So, Tom, you have any plans for going to any legacy events anytime in the near future?
Nope. I'm pretty much I'm puppy locked. So.
Oh right.
Yeah, so I get to travel. If there's a Philly event, a local Philly event, like if Star City comes through, and it's not like a non-legacy format, I'll try to make that. So when they have the Legacy Classics or supposed to do the team constructed event.
When's that?
It's over the summer at some point. I don't remember the date. But other than that, it's probably going to be till October before I play in a major paper event.
Well, Eternal Weekend's down in Pittsburgh, right?
That won't be one of them. There's 4 events that are all within like a month period. There's Star City Syracuse, which is a Legacy Open. Then there's GP Atlanta, which is obviously a Grand Prix, and then Eternal Weekend, and I think one of the MTGO playoffs is that month too. So there's I think there's literally a major legacy event every single weekend.
That's pretty amazing. Like, for considering, we've all been, I mean, at least, Jerry and I have both said that we're pretty worried about the format not getting off love. It certainly does seem to get a decent amount of events for us. Trinisphere is kind of a bummer.
It's not that bad. They still don't have. They have 2 draws because
the Chalice was good.
They have 2 draws because we're gonna combo next turn. They're gonna copy. They're also gonna combo, but we have the tutors to go behind it. So one of the next 2 draws has to be a problem for us.
So you're just gonna scry for like Sajiri Step, basically.
Probably Crop Rot because we have to pay 3. So we're gonna need to play. We're gonna need to play the Trop to do it. So. This is really the key turn that they can have drawn like an Endbringer or a Bridge or something this turn. If we make it through this, we're probably okay. Two, 4, 5, 6. Don't really see a card they can really max punish us with if they force us to go for it on their end step.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. We have GP Providence coming up next week, which I was planning on going and playing Legacy all day on Friday, but now that I'm starting my new job, that likely won't happen. But I'm probably just going to play all the Legacy events on Saturday that weekend, which I'm looking forward to. And meeting a couple friends of ours down there, which will be a good time. Get some good food, pick up some more cards. And now, so you're gonna crop rotation into what at this point?
2 cards win the game. You could either get Caracas or Sajiri Step.
Gotcha.
Arkan in the past they've run cards like the 6 drops that exiles 4 lands off the top of your deck, and I have had people. I used to not bring this in if I suspected they would have that card, but most of the post decks don't run that card anymore. The slots got eaten up. They have much stronger cards, in my opinion. I haven't seen. I don't even remember what that card's called.
Arkin has the best emotes. All the Star Wars emotes. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Arkin is a beast. Like, I've had a really weird work schedule this week. Like my depositions ended early today, so I got home a little bit early in the afternoon, earlier than I would normally, and he's streaming. When I get home on a normal day, he's streaming. Before I go to bed, he's streaming. Like, it doesn't matter what time I get in front of a computer. There he is.
That's awesome.
Streaming Legacy at all times. Oblivion Sower is the card I was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have
the
lost.
6-mana grab 3 lands or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was complaining to some people because I had a post player dead on board, and I had the Lodge and everything, and they cast a Desperation, one of those, and hit stage Depths Urborg.
Oh, geez.
On the 4 cards. I ended up losing because of it.
Oh, no.
So it was
that's pretty brutal.
all right. So I wouldn't. So this is a Moto test.
Okay.
So in the dark, you probably keep a turn 2 combo with a Brainstorm. However, I'm very familiar with our opponent, who is an outstanding Storm pilot.
Oh yeah.
That occasionally dabbles in Spanish Inquisition, and we're going to get crushed if we keep this hand and give him 3 turns to goldfish us. So the question is, do you mulligan and ruin your own self-improvement levels and matchup percentages, or do you keep the hand and try to actually win the game?
Yeah.
So for stream purposes, I'm gonna mulligan.
Okay.
Sounds better, but I think we're probably still going to lose. It's all right.
I like having Thoughtseize. That's nice.
We're gonna lose Thoughtseize right here.
Yeah.
That's just how this matchup rolls.
Oh, of course. Oh yeah.
If he doesn't take the Thoughtseize, that'll say a lot about his hand, though.
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't take the Thoughtseize, it must mean he just like can play 100% through it, right?
Yeah. So there's a passing thought to Gemstone Crop into Wasteland and take him off the sea and try to get lucky that way, but I think that's just
hoping he takes.
That's just a bad line, yeah.
Yeah. Arkin, I have to say too, for I played a lot of the Star Wars video games, and Knights of the Old Republic, the one for like original Xbox, was one of my favorite games of all time. KOTOR and KOTOR 2 are like 2 of my favorite games of all time. So in your like against Storm Tom, I imagine like you either need to combo extremely early or it must be a beast of a matchup for you. Like what you bringing Fluster Storms in the sideboard? Or?
Oh yeah, definitely. Game 1's whoa.
Brutality.
That's interesting. I guess somebody got tired of losing to Thalia. So I mean, I guess he's maybe going to go for a Past in Flames line, but we can't really stop him from taking our crop rotation, so I think we just throw it under the... Might as well put him under the... Make him have it, essentially, next turn. But yeah, game 1's it's just it's kind of a goldfish. We're both sides are casting discard spells. And whoever, they don't have an answer to what you're doing, what we're doing, and we don't really have an answer to them ad nauseing us to death. Like we can fight them on some level. Like we can try and wasteland a land if we think that's relevant. We can try and crop into bog to shut off Past in Flames, but that's kind of minimal, and their deck's going to play right through that, and they don't have any balancer answers or anything like that until game 2. Well, actually, that's so I 100% based on
this is interesting. Do you Thoughtseize here, or
I think
do you have
I think we do Thoughtseize because he kept a hand with 2 discard spells. I think he has to have a path. I think he was just clearing the way. Whoa.
Okay, so he's on Inquisition.
The top card.
Yeah, Bolas' Citadel is a neat card. Nice little Doomsday pile there.
I have no idea how likely. I've never played against Bolas' Citadel. I have no idea how likely
neither
they
have
are.
I've just heard I've heard people wanting to brew with it, and pushing it into a storm deck.
Huh. So, I think for science, just because I want to see it work. If he kills me with Bolas' Citadel, I accept.
Tom, how often have you been able to stream lately? Just like once or twice a week?
I'm trying to go for once a week.
Yeah.
I streamed earlier this week with Lawrence and once last week with Curtis.
Yeah,
so.
I got to catch a little bit of Lawrence's stream. I wasn't able to watch Curtis's. I think I might have been working that night. But now, are you ever going to play a different deck, or are you? Because I think people like watching you play this deck because you're so skilled with it. And I think you're best off playing this deck, but like, would you branch out into another deck if it suited your fancy? Or
I'm not sure on stream unless I'm with somebody that's very
Gotcha.
familiar with that deck, because I don't want to dirtle around.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Okay.
So he's targeting himself. Okay. Yes. So I do want to pick up some other decks and practice with them, just for the format finals in January. I was talking a little bit with Lawrence about that. I want to have options, because right now the players that have qualified for that tournament are pretty universally terrible matchups for me if they run their traditional decks. You know, there's a Bonde, a D&T expert, Bara, and Dan Neely on Maverick. It's like those are not decks I want to be playing against versus those particular players. Well, I wonder what the fail rate on this thing is. So that's a good start.
Oh, let's ponder. All right. Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, so you're queued for the the championship? Is that what it is?
There's quarterly playoffs that 8 people qualify for. So it's going to be a really small tournament. It's going to be that seemed to work. That seemed to go very well. So it's going to be a small event. So once it starts to become more clear what the field, or my idea of what the field's going to look like, if Depths is a bad choice, I would like to have been spending the last 6 or 7 months actually learning a couple of other options that I could play competently if I needed to switch it up.
Very cool. LED, he has... Oh, wait. Is he just playing... Oh, good God. Oh, boy. Do we want to play Surgical here, too?
It's a really good question.
Surgical over. I mean, Stifle's not terrible, right? Although it's probably gonna get ripped out of our hand anyway. But
Yeah, that's the problem with Stifle against Storm. What I actually end up using Stifle for against Storm most of the time is hitting a fetch early. Like, you just try and choke their mana, or if the discard spells all bounce off of each other, you hide a Stifle with Brainstorm. Maybe you can catch them with it. But more often than not, if they actually, well, not against this deck because it's Doomsday or whatever, but against Storm, if they cast Ad Nauseam, they're going to find a discard spell the majority of the time before your Stifle's going to matter. But
Strifo in the chat.
yeah, that is a mistake. I did not activate the Hex Mage to send a message and take counters off a card with no counters on it. I have no idea how to board against Doomsday. These don't appear to do anything, so they can go. Probably shave a tutor.
Yeah, Strifo, I heard about that. That sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit that they haven't been. My account got hit about a year ago.
I remember you saying that too.
Yeah,
It's like,
and I didn't get. I was much luckier than Chase was, because somehow they locked it. They locked the trading down when the person was trying to do whatever they were trying to do. And I talked to the person on the phone. I actually called their office, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it was hit from a Swedish IP address." I was like, "Okay, what are you gonna do about it?" And they're like, "We can't talk about it." It's like, okay,
really?
It's like,
yeah,
well,
it's
like it's current investigation spiel, and I'll just try these just to get a peek. I don't know if that's right. Yeah, they didn't get anything out, but my account got locked down and trading was banned for a while. I couldn't do anything with my account.
that sucks.
But they've known about this issue. This has been going on for a while, and
Right,
it's often come from the same area, the same region. So I don't know whether it's being routed through a specific spot or what the case is, but they've known about the issue and they've known there's been attacks. People are literally just hitting people that do well in tournaments.
Yeah, that sucks.
This hand's kind of.
At least I know I'm safe.
You never know. You're a legacy. You're legacy famous.
Yeah, right. I actually, so something that's funny. While we're talking about this, because I've been meaning to do it. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Because here we go. So last week when I was watching your stream, I was hopping into a league myself, and I accidentally typed my password into your stream chat.
You did?
Yeah. I don't think anyone noticed. It was like right when you started streaming.
I clearly missed that.
Yeah. So I didn't say anything. I actually just changed it now just to be safe. But yeah, Magic Online's terrible because like you can just brute force your way into anyone's password. You have you can just keep entering and entering. It doesn't ever lock you out. It doesn't ever time you out. It's no bueno. What is Perilous Voyage?
It's a bounce spell.
Oh, okay. Okay. You just take Doomsday and you can Flusterstorm his Perilous Voyage?
Well, maybe depending on how it works out with their own Flusterstorm.
Or
I'm probably gonna try and bait their Flusterstorm out by stifling their fetch land.
Okay.
But I think it's worth having Doomsday in their graveyard, because if we do draw a Surgical, we can start a fight with that card too.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to stifle his fetch here?
I don't think he's going to use it right away. He's nowhere near comboing. Okay, so hopefully he tries to shuffle here, and we can
Stifle. Feel real good.
Well, we have two options. We could force the crop rot through, or we could stifle his land. But since he played it this way, I definitely think we want to fight over the... We want to cut his mana a little bit.
So how the dogs doing, man?
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I actually probably should have crop rotted in response to that. I guess it doesn't
Into
matter.
the preordain?
Yeah, because he had a land drop available. And then I would have had to fight through Flusterstorm. But luckily he did not hit a land. Normally I would like waiting and building storm count, but since he has the Flusterstorm and he's tapped out, I think I want to do it this way.
Mm-hmm. And then next turn, even if he hits a land drop, you still make your guy and he can't bounce it to your back to your hand.
Not unless he drew a 1 casting cost bounce spell.
Right.
Which if he did,
You don't have a thing on your end step, just...
Oh no, I do.
Stop.
I have a stop on his end step. It's mine.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It's mine that I ignore the steps on.
Oh, right. Because, clicking through your own end step would be something that I do, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I try to have a minimum amount of stops. I probably
Yeah.
should have more, but yeah.
I generally have like upkeep stops, like main, and then like all the combats, and then second main and end step. I probably have more stops than I need, which becomes obnoxious.
All right.
Anything you changed being on the...
Yeah, it's I kind of want to board the Mox Diamonds out because they've already shown bounce spells, and one way to get blown right out of the game is to discard a colored source, play a Mox Diamond, and get it bounced and cut you off with like a Flusterstorm or something like that. But we need to pick up some amount of tempo back. The Safekeeper might be worth it against the bounce spells.
Just thinking that, actually.
The issue is I don't know. Not sure these are any good. I feel like we have to hit a Doomsday with Surgical in hand, or force them to Brainstorm with Surgical in hand to actually get good value out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a Safekeeper is better over one of those. Well, I'll run it back.
Keep clicking on your screen, thinking that I'm going to be able to control it myself, like an idiot.
So this hand's a little ambitious since we only have the 1 land, but we have a couple tutors, a couple discard spells, Fluster,
I like
and we're on the draw. So as long as we hit a land in the first 2 turns, we're probably going to be okay.
Tom, you use the Cardboard Live button.
I tried. I don't know whether it actually worked or not. Does it actually work
Okay.
on the stream or not? I've never actually gone to the Twitch page to see if it's there.
I feel like I saw it the other day, but I can't remember.
I tried to set it up. I don't know whether I did
Yeah.
it correctly or not. But
Oh, it's making me sit through a Twitch ad. Come on, Twitch. Okay. Interesting.
So we're going to need to draw another land before we can do much of anything anyway. So I think the fetch here is Underground Sea, so we have all of our disruption up.
Yep.
It shuts us off from some quicker combo routes depending on what we draw. Like I'm gonna be unhappy if I draw a Hex Mage and their hand doesn't do much, but I think this is the safer path. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you take the ritual, right?
I think so. Unless he draws exactly a blue source this turn.
Right.
I'm going to get choice of those next turn. So. Huh. I think it's worth looking for lands here.
There we go. Do we want either of those cryings at this point?
Possibly not. But it kind of insulates us from discard by keeping a second tutor.
Oh, sure.
So I think I like that better than the Brainstorm.
All right. And then like Delta and Inquisition again?
Bayou. Bayou, we need green.
Yeah, but I mean, Inquisition, yeah. Makes sense. Did he thought seize our Vampire Hexmage? Was that his first play?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
What do you think, Pat? You think they brought in surgical extractions? Have a Doomsday deck?
I mean, it's entirely possible. Do we have a stage in our? We don't have stage in our graveyard, right?
Nah. So what I was thinking about doing is crop rotting the depths away into stage. And,
oh, really?
And then Flusterstorming his Ponder and seeing if he feels like using another card to actually use this. Because if we combo next turn, we're going to use all of our mana. So I kind of want to cut him off of drawing towards a bounce spell.
I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. He can also pay for Flusterstorm with the LED, right? But
which I think is fine.
He's gonna pitch his hand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably too greedy.
But you're gonna crop rot this turn regardless?
No, because now he has blue mana up, and he's already shown us Flusterstorm last game.
Okay.
Damn it. I guess I should have done it.
Would you play a scry here to make him use the Flusterstorm?
Well, I don't know that he has a Flusterstorm at all.
Oh.
I was just kind of floating that thought.
Oh, I see. I think I like scrying here personally. Yeah. So now you can combo next turn, right?
Yeah, I could try to anyway.
So, do you just let him duress here? I mean, we can. I guess you have options. I guess you just let him duress, right? Because
yeah, I think so.
he takes either crop rotation or Sylvan Scrying. Probably takes. I assume he takes crop rotation.
He's gonna take one of these two. He's not gonna touch Sylvan Scrying.
No. Okay. So what do you think he has in hand? Like, do you think he has a bounce spell now?
He kept and he's done nothing, so I think it's a likelihood, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna manual thaw.
Could you scry for something like? Oh, I guess no. We do have Safekeeper, right? Do we sideboard that in?
We do, but
Okay. So now you can do the combo twice at this point, right? Because you have stage depth and then you have crop rotation depths in hand.
I could, but I think the plan is going to be to just do it once with crop route protection.
Okay.
Would have been nice if I could have. This card is atrocious against a deck that wants triple black.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, Arkin. When Tom tried to teach me this deck, and I was like, oh no, you just go for it. As soon as you have it, you just go for it, right? It was awful. I did very poorly. So we have to hope he doesn't have two of those perilous voyages.
Or a Flusterstorm works here too.
Right.
But it looks like he has two voyages. That's unfortunate. I wonder how many of these he runs. We only saw one in the main deck when his whole deck got flipped over to Doomsday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he bought himself, what, 2 turns, right?
He also got the Scry, too, which is kind of annoying. And we've drawn nothing but lands, so we're kind of in a... if he has anything, we're just dead. Yeah, the Delta...
Oh, I thought we had the second stage. My mistake.
No. Yeah, our sequence of Delta, Urborg, Misty is just, we needed to draw a, a relevant spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we had 3 more crops, which would have been relevant. 7 more discard spells, which would have been relevant. 3 more brainstorms, 2 more flusterstorms. We had a decent amount of draws.
I know there was one stream where someone convinced Jerry and I to play Doomsday deck, and it was like running 4 Mentor on the sideboard, and literally every single sideboard game we just sideboard Mentors in. It just became like a bad Monastery Mentor deck. Doomsday is it's way above where I operate for cards for card games.
So it looks like 3 Perilous Voyages.
Okay.
What is going on? Waiting till next turn.
Really?
It's either didn't have the mana requirements or he's or he's playing around something. Maybe this is like the new Jace. I
can't imagine. What's he gonna play, like Duel's Vault? No.
So top 3 cards. All right.
This is crazy.
Yep.
Okay. What's he gonna do here, Tom?
I have no idea. Lab Maniac, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, jeez. That is my least favorite card, dude. I hate Lab Man so much. So much.
I mean, if that's what it is, I'm not sure what he's playing around at this point. He has Fluster covered 6 ways with the extra LEDs, unless he's worried that we brought in like an Abrupt Decay. That seems, I don't know. He's taken this path. If you can't beat that card, you can't beat that card.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he's got access to 3 cards right now, right?
I have no idea what happened.
Okay.
I don't know whether you ordered wrong or I have no idea. I ask him just to see if maybe he'll come back. He was here before the match, he said.
I've had that happen to me when I was playing like Doomsday Piles, where Jerry and I ordered the deck the way we thought we needed it to be ordered, and then we just miscalculated what we were doing, and we just had to scoop it. Like I said, it's not a.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Unless a card was boarded out, because he did take a little while.
Yeah.
Trying to determine the pile too, which I thought he was just trying to figure out how to play around something, which we obviously had nothing.
But he had to win that turn, right? Because you could just crop rotation.
But he didn't. But he didn't know that.
Right.
So. Yeah, I don't know. It must have just been. I don't know, maybe a misclick or misorder or a sideboard thing. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna go make another drink. I'll be right back.
All right. This hand's really greedy, but I have a bunch of disruption. I'm going to keep it. Yikes. This is... Yikes. Oh.
All right. And we're back.
We're getting Delvered.
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean, no?
Grixis. Oh, Grixis.
Yeah, we're getting
Okay.
Delvered. So here they're on no black, but they flip Delver right away. So I'm going to leave them with black cards, and we need to draw a land in the next 2 turns.
I like our odds.
They draw a black spell. We're probably going to lose though, or a black land, I should say.
Yeah. I gotcha. I'm moving on to rum now, for everyone keeping track at home.
Oh, that was even better. Look at the top 3 and find your black land. Oh, they shuffled. Oh, there it is. God damn it.
Oh my god, that's how we're gonna get there.
Alright, well, we'll still get there if we draw a Hex Mage.
Yeah. We got some turns.
We don't
We
have
got 2 turns.
We don't have turns. We have a turn. Needs to be right here.
Oh yeah. We got a turn.
Yeah, we got play drawed. We would have been okay, but here we've got nothing.
Should have crop rotated to wait for Wasteland just to show some strength.
I don't know how familiar they are with the deck. I don't want to.
Fine, Tom. If you don't want to let your dreams be memes, fine. That's fine. That's fine.
There's a non-zero chance. Well, I guess it probably does. They probably don't have a basic, but there's a non-zero chance they have a basic, and not knowing whether it's Wasteland or Ghost Quarter could come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no Ancient Tomb in the deck, Arkin. The only accelerant land is Urborg.
Oh, what's up? Freya's in the chat. What's up, Freya? Freya's one of our locals.
Okay.
She's a dope lands player.
The wife of lands? I think this is... Alright.
I've played the wackiest games of lands versus lands against her. It's been hilarious.
Oh, well, yeah, that's Blake. Okay. You could have
Yeah.
said that was Blake. I would have known much better than what your description was.
My mistake. Oh.
That actually doesn't matter. We have that covered, thankfully.
Maybe we'll name Delta. It's happened before.
It's possible. The age-old question: do they name Hex Mage or Stage?
They're probably right now searching your lists frantically online to see what's relevant.
This isn't that complicated. They saw Dark Depths. It's really only 2 cards you can realistically name in the dark, and that's the correct name.
Haha, abrupt decay. I like it. No, I haven't had rum in like a year, maybe a year and a half. It's pretty good. Oh, Wasteland.
We want a Wasteland too, or probe them, and they're going for it. Yeah, I'm not going to play around Surgical in this matchup, Arkin. I mean, if I can with crop rotation, I will, but, you know, if they have Wasteland plus Surgical and they can get it through crop rots, more power to them, and discard.
Gurmag's fine, right? You're like, that's no worries.
I mean, it's a fast clock.
I kind of want to put Grixis Delver back together just to play once in a while, because I enjoy that deck. It's just not as much fun as Blue-Red. I never feel good about casting Gurmag Angler, but I really like casting Young Pyromancer.
Damn it. Really want to draw a land.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Is that the one time we were talking about at the beginning of the stream?
We were. This guy had it in game, in the last game.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I really like Young Pyromancer, but yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about Edict. Now you do it on his end step, right? Because you have crop rotation for. I guess if it's Edict, it doesn't really protect us from. Crop rotation doesn't protect us from Edict, but it doesn't protect us from bounce spells, right? With step.
No, I'm not worried about bounce spells. I'm worried about the Edict, which our opponent has played around very well. So, I mean, here we're just gonna lose to it. I was hoping they would do anything so we could crop into Wasteland and cut them off of the mana. But
see.
They've played very well. We weren't going to be able to block Arkin. If he had the Edict, he was going to Edict pre-blocks.
What?
All right, we actually could have comboed there if he had nothing.
Oh, he's got the force, of course.
This is awkward, but we don't have another play, so I have to play right into Bolt.
Oh, jeez. All right.
What?
Well, that's what you brought me here for, Tom, was to bring you down.
No, I adjusted the sideboard specifically to help in a couple of other matchups, and because the meta was so blue-white heavy, so plow heavy, a lot of D&T Maverick, Miracles, Blue-White Delver, Stoneblade, that I switched the Arbor slot to Safekeeper, and switched the fetch land base off of the Verdance into the Polluted Delta, which had the mana base been the other way, we still would have lost, but the Arbor would have given us some game. What would have happened if we had the Arbor is we would have waited until I drew the fetch land, which I did. Then we would have went for it. They would have edicted. We would have got the Arbor, and they would have bolted the Arbor. So we were still going to get. They were still going to get us in that sequence. It wouldn't have mattered, but there are sequences where the Arbor can win you a game. It's just, to me, they didn't come up enough, and there wasn't enough Grixis Delver to really justify the cost of having that in the 75.
Gotcha.
It's possible if it comes back. Like, I know a bunch of people are trying the Dread Horde out, and I know it did fairly well at the GP. So if it comes back and starts being one of the top 2 or 3 decks, then that might need to be revisited. But the only time I really felt like I needed Arbor were when the top 2 decks were like Grixis Delver and Grixis Control, and you would see edicts constantly. But yeah, Grixis Control is basically non-existent. I might play it like maybe once out every 20-30 matches, if that. And even Grixis Delver has barely been around until the last week or so online. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah. I guess I have to try out Dread Horror Arcanist if everyone's so high on it right now.
Yeah, I saw it on Arkan stream a little earlier. It looked really good.
Yeah.
Watching him cast free ponders and brainstorms, and there was a really neat sequence where his opponent let him pyroblast their Jace, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
I have to go order some from Haruria. Haruria's, I put an order in there a week and a half ago, and it still hasn't shipped yet. And it's pretty frustrating.
What'd you order?
It was just like a couple of the new Gnar sets, just because I feel like they're gonna be okay, and they were like fairly inexpensive for an uncommon. And then just like some like polluted, like Khan's polluted deltas in Japanese, like a braid, some like sideboard cards that I don't have in Japanese yet, like a braids and Grafdigger's cages and Is It Static Casters. Nothing like crazy, but it's been sitting and processing for like a week, almost 2 weeks now. It's really bothered me. And like a bunch of people who are on like the Japanese singles page are in the same boat. So I don't know if it's like, I don't know if they oversold on war cards and they're waiting to open them up, or what the case is, but kind of a bummer.
So this hand's like an auto mulligan, and I'm talking myself into keeping it slowly.
We don't know what our opponent's on, right?
No.
You don't like this hand? I feel like, well, I guess the Mox Diamond is a non-bow, right? Well, not a non-bow, but
we basically need to draw land immediately.
Yeah.
This should have been a mulligan, but I was tempted into it because it looks so
I like
so
the thought
good.
seizes. Yeah. I would probably keep this hand.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't mean that's a good hand.
Yeah, I think it's right. We don't really have a path to anything unless we draw land. So And if our opponent, no. I was going to say, if our opponent chalices us, I'm going to be very sad.
Yeah, that would be a bummer. Be a big bummer.
All right.
Dreadhorde Arcanist is 450 yen for isn't it a common or is it a rare? I don't remember. Oh, it's a rare at least. Does that mean I have to get it now?
No brainstorm for you.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, another storm deck. My inclination here is to take Infernal Tutor, right?
I mean, if you can't take the brainstorm because they actually just have an actual ad naus next turn.
Yeah.
So this is out. The mana is, I mean, you take LED and pray, but yeah, I think it has to be the tutor and hope he doesn't find another. Doesn't immediately find another gas spell. Hopefully we draw a colored source or a dark depths and we can threaten them immediately so they don't have many looks. Alright, so that was their draw. Alright, so if we end up having a Thoughtseize, we'll have full information because they only kept one on top. Alright, that was about as good as it gets. We get to have it all. So if we take this, they get one look.
Dibs. Mage, yeah. What are we worried about? Yeah. So, oh, they did. Oh, yeah. All right.
They have the mana. They just need to. They just need to find a tutor or an ad naus. Or possibly a Past in Flames, I guess, works too.
Oh, right, because you gave him the black source with the board.
He had it anyway. He had a Misty in hand.
Okay.
Giving them one draw. If they find it, they find it. Looks like they found it. Yep, there's the Past in Flames. So I guess they had Past in Flames, ad naus, and 3 tutors.
Do they have enough to?
They do. Yeah, they're more than good enough.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was unfortunate.
Wait, does he have enough storm to kill us though?
Yeah, he does because we thought seized.
Oh, we're at 15. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Punished by the double Thoughtseize hand.
Yeah. Bro. Yeah. Arkin, the Narset Japanese is only 300 yen. That's why I picked up a playset of them because I thought that was pretty inexpensive.
The only other way we could have played that is could have dropped the Hex Mage and left a colored source up and not Thought Seized, leaving Crop Rot up, which would have left us Bog available if they drew exactly past In Flames, but they had an unknown card that they kept on top with the Preordain. So we would lose to any Tutor in that spot or Adnaz in that spot, so I don't know that we could actually realistically take that line. But that would have beaten the past In Flames draw he had. Seems all right.
Arkin, I'm gonna try to tune in your stream tomorrow, man.
Thoughtseize is greed.
Thoughtseize is good.
Thoughtseize is not greedy.
It's a great equalizer, right?
Damn it.
What were you hoping for there?
Any land.
Any land. Oh, see, you got him scared in the stifle, man. I just want to get stifled now.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with we're just throwing cards away if we scrying, because we would need to scry for a colored source to have any kind of defense up against his hand. So tapping out to scry for a relevant land seems bad.
All right, I just told my guy to pick me up 4 copies of Dreadport Arcanist, so I'll have 4 copies next week when I go to Providence. I have a buddy who picks me up Japanese cards. He's like a dealer. So I found that like I have a hard time finding some Japanese cards even on Haruruya, which is a little frustrating. Oh, so he played out Petal. Why do we think he played out Petal? Just for access to Flusterstorm, perhaps?
Possibly Flusterstorm, possibly just to protect some of his mana from discard. Could be a few different reasons.
Okay. Drewski, people are saying Arcanist is good. I haven't played against it yet. But people are saying that it's good, so. Yeah, I'm a little bummed if Flusterstorm comes into Modern. Those cards just went from being $90 to like a reasonable amount for a sideboard card, and now they're going to spike again, which is sort of a bummer. Tom, do you like crop rotate for? What are you scrying for?
So. Crop
rotation
for Herb now. Crop rotation for Herborg or scrying for Herborg gets absolutely blown out by anything that they have. We would basically have no disruption and give them a clean turn on their turn 3, which I don't think we can do because we haven't interacted with them at all. Like we stopped their Thoughtseize, but they've essentially been goldfishing on the other side. So I don't think we can rely on just surgical extraction to do something. So I was going to get a colored source here so that we both have this disruption up and have a combo up next turn.
Could you crop rotate for bog and like get a color source so you can crop rotate for bog in case?
Well, that's what I was going to do, but
Gotcha.
they obviously, or if they don't have, oh, I'm an idiot. I have to do it this way. If they don't have Flusterstorm, they're repping it hard because they really went into the tank on that scrying.
Gotcha. Yeah, Drewski, I don't play any. I play Zero Modern, so I have no opinions on the format. I've never played a game of it. I don't know anything about the format, but from my understanding, Force Will would probably be good in that format. It's a good card. I like playing with it in Legacy. It's not nearly as overpowered as people make it out to be, but it's a good card. So I like having crop rotation and surgical in this hand. It makes it feel like we're less helpless, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go for it unless they have to into this setup either, because it's pretty clear we wanted the colored mana. So the downside of this particular line is that if they have a bounce spell and decide to randomly bounce our Mox Diamond, that's going to be really uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
But, you know, we have to show some kind of defensive front. While also sort of trying to progress towards attempting to kill them. Perfect scenario is if they don't go for it this turn and then we draw a land next turn. That looks like Infernal Tutor for a duplicate mana piece. So it's possible they have a couple tutors. Huh.
Okay.
Surprised they're going for it.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a really... Wait, what are they doing? Oh, they're going to go for...
So do you just bog now? Because they have Past and Flames in the graveyard?
That's what I'm looking at. So
Wait, they didn't even make red with it, right? They just made...
Well, they have the Lotus Petal. So currently they have no mana if they flash back Past and Flames. So they're going to need to resolve another mana. They're going to go get a mana spell. If I surgical now, they'll get a bounce spell, I think. If I let them go get a mana, say another Cabal Writ, I can let them cast the Writ and then surgical the Past and Flames.
Okay.
I think that's correct. Because they can't actually do anything yet without another card. There we go.
So what do they grab? Okay, the ritual.
Let's see what we have here. They should not have let that resolve.
Think they should have just scooped beforehand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have
3 Echoing Truth.
4 bounce spells. Yep. 1 truth, 3.
Waiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty standard otherwise. They may shave that on the play in game 3. Looks like they trimmed. They went down on discard, so they're down to, they cut the duress entirely. So it looks like that was just a straight swap with the bounce spells 4 bounce spells in, 4 discard spells out. All right. I don't think we want the Safekeeper.
I mean,
it's so low impact when we're not trying to win. I just want a higher density.
You can always get in there for 1. Yeah, I agree. Doesn't seem great.
Yeah, I agree on the ad. No, it made a lot more sense when they discarded it off the LED. They were kind of stuck. I think this is okay.
Yeah, this hand seems pretty decent, right?
It's a little flooded, but it's got a turn 1 discard spell that if they try to brainstorm in response, we can force it through. It's got 2 pieces of interaction. I mean, I'm going to need to draw something at some point. Well, that's something.
You can, yeah, pitch by you.
So the annoying part about this is I want to have the ability to play Hexmage next turn with the blue up for Flusterstorm, but I'm going to give him a tri-land off that Volcanic Island, which is annoying.
Oh. Yeah, it's interesting really, that he played a blue-red source, didn't play a black source turn 1.
Even though I'm giving that to him, I think this is correct. Because this beats an Echoing Truth or some other such nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this I think I'm okay with.
Yeah, that seems fine to me.
I mean, we can force it through, but I like the idea of going for it next turn with protection from a bounce spell.
Mm-hmm. This is game 3?
This is game 3, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they got us with the Past and Flames
right, yeah.
top deck, yeah, in game 1. It's gonna be really awkward if they didn't have a black mana source and I turned on all their discard. But that doesn't appear to be the case.
That's interesting. So you let the brainstorm resolve here, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a likelihood that if there are 5 other cards, there's either a discard spell or a bounce spell or something that we're going to have to deal with at a later date. They only have 4 discard spells currently in their setup, so I like having Flusterstorm. Well, they found one, but I liked the idea of having the protected kill, having the protected kill next turn.
Yeah,
I think just firing it off. We don't know if they found the Thoughtseize with that brainstorm or not, or found the sea with that brainstorm or not. But if that was just the opener and they had it anyway, what would have happened is I would have flustered their brainstorm and they would have Thoughtseized our Hexmage. So we would have had no combo and no interaction. At least they took our interaction now, but at least we still have the combo.
Gotcha.
That was not a great draw. Yeah, Arkin, exactly. If I know that second Hexmage was on top, I definitely would have countered the Brainstorm.
Should play more Corsive Crewfix in this deck. That's what we need. Actually, Bolus is Citadel, because then you can look at the top, but no one else has to look at it, right? So it's still secret.
Bolus is Citadel. I have already... That card killed me in a game. Really swiftly, too. How many cards did you actually see off of it? Was it like 3? 2?
Bolus is Citadel?
He cast like the Ponder and then the Brainstorm, or then the Doomsday, and I died.
The card's ridiculous. I have to look. I don't even remember what let me see. Bolus's Citadel. You play a top card library. If you cast a spell this turn, play life equal to a CMC rather than pay its mana cost. So it's like a permanent ad nauseum. It's so weird.
Yikes.
That's actually, if they don't hit a pedal right, you're in decent shape.
They have 9 life still. Give it a little
Yeah.
time.
No, I know.
They also
I'm just saying.
They also have a land drop bet, so they're almost there already.
Come on, Tom. It could happen. It could happen.
Wow. Wow.
I think you're good.
Unless they keep going, which I think they have to.
Yeah, because they have a land drop, but they only, well, I guess they have, no, yeah, they have to play Bayou, so they can't brainstorm or,
I mean,
they can just thoughts.
Yeah, they have they can't use the fetch lands.
They can't use the fetch land, so they have a Bayou.
Which does nothing.
And that's it.
They just have
No,
mana.
it does nothing.
They just have mana right now. So they need to find an actual...
And they have no red source, so they can't pass in flames, so they have to keep going.
I believe they do need to take another card, yeah.
They're thinking, though.
Yeah,
There you go.
They made the right play. Passed in Flames.
I told you, man.
Passed in Flames off the top giveth in game 1. It taketh in game 3. So
I told you, man.
We broke even on the Past in Flames wars in that match and won the middle game.
All right, I'm gonna make one more drink. Hold on, I'll be right back. Don't make any more important decisions without.
Pat's getting very drunk. Yeah, I actually have a really good win rate against Storm. That match was really close, but I like the Storm matchup from my side, generally speaking. Yeah, exactly. The brainstorms help protect from the storm's early turn discard spells. So do the flusterstorms. So they can't just pick your hand apart. So it didn't play out that way in the last match. But a lot of times you can protect your flusterstorms and crop rotations, whereas the green black depths deck can't. You basically just get a peek at their hand and then you're good to go. There's a lot more to worry about versus a deck with blue. Yeah, I think Storm's probably fairly heavily favored versus slow depths, and probably favored versus turbo depths too. At least that's what all of the Storm pilots that I've talked to, that's been their experiences.
All right. Where we at?
We're playing versus a bug deck.
Oh, okay. I ran out of rum, so now I have vodka.
You're gonna be very helpful going down the stretch.
I'm excited. I'm emptying out all these that I had. So it's a productive week.
Yeah, Luenel. That doesn't happen very often, unfortunately. Most players are pretty good at hiding the last card unless it's relevant to the board state. Welcome back, Landsmaster.
Tom, I like how ballsy you are, because whenever I have to look for a card off a fetch land, I blow that little window up as big as I can get. You just like straight up just click it. Like I don't take that chance, man.
To be fair, the most of the tutors grab combo pieces unless you're going for like a stage protected situation. So there's 4 stages in a row, 4 depths in a row. Yeah, I'm not just like clicking out one ofs in that spot. Sometimes I'll do it with a step, but if it's an important spot in the match, I'll enlarge it.
Just seems like you're playing real fast and loose, Tom. That's all I'm saying, man.
That's the way it goes. I don't think that does anything. So, bonus deck looks kind of good stuffy so far.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's a reason. I'd like to play around Wasteland, but I don't think there's a reason to just throw it out when you may have not this Liliana, but the original Liliana.
Yeah.
The OG Liliana.
Lily of the Veil. Tarmogoyf
Yes.
making an appearance today. Tarmogoyf, a card that is like $40 now. It used to be $100 card.
Is it still $40?
Yeah, it's cheap. No one plays them anymore.
They reprinted the thing like 15 times, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was super expensive. But now it's not.
They have the Flusterstorm's the new Tarmogoyf I saw today. That's supposed to be in the Modern Horizons set.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
They're gonna put Flusterstorm in every set imaginable.
Yeah, now it's gonna go modern, so now it's gonna spike again. It's gonna be $90 again.
So what do you think, Pat? You think this deck main decks Edicts?
I was actually just thinking that. Yeah, I mean, yes, right? It has to, doesn't it?
I don't know about that.
I guess if you have Lily of the Veil, you might not need to main deck Edicts, but
yeah, I'm not playing around it. We could wait.
Do we have protection?
We get 4 looks. We could wait a turn and get 4 look. We could wait a turn and get 4 looks, and if we had a discard spell, we could fire it off too. But I don't think they have it. So.
Do we want to brainstorm on their end step to see if we can find?
Let's see if they kill it. I don't think they have it.
I like the move. They don't have it. They don't have it. Get in there. Yeah, nice.
So we didn't actually see enough to know whether this is. Pat is an evil man,
Great.
Arkin. This is a Sith stream. I know you have a lot of Jedi over there, but it's not really our game over here.
You gotta bring your abrupt decays for Lily, right? And the trophies for Lily.
Actually, don't bring in trophies in these kind of matchups.
No,
They have soft counter magic. They'll usually have at least
just the decays.
at least the days, if not Pierce or some other nonsense. I don't like the spell. I mean, the Planeswalkers aren't even really that dangerous if you don't play into them.
Sure.
The issue is like they have some annoying cards. Like we saw the Bitter Blossom main deck.
Yep.
So that could be a minor annoyance. I will shave on. Normally I leave diamonds in to play around days against Delver decks, but against the Abrupt Decay deck, I'm not in love with having a pile of diamonds. You think this is a him version, or you think this is more of a faster Delver version? I don't know that we saw enough to.
If he's running Lily of the Last Hope, I feel like it's a him version.
Yeah. No, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Yeah, we'll give him the graveyard. That's fine.
But don't you want to shrink his Tarmogoyfs?
It does come up from time to time. Oh my god.
That's no good.
Yikes.
That seems bad too.
It's probably better than a random 5. We have multiple stages. He's already shown that he'll aggressively use the Wasteland. So.
Did you how did you feel about the Mulligan rule, the newer Mulligan rule?
I strongly dislike the London Mulligan.
Yeah. All right, Misty's not terrible.
I think the initial rush of playing with that is very good. Like it feels good because you're basically getting 14 or 21 looks.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So basically every time I'm gonna have, with my particular deck, every time.
Oh, we didn't flip Delver. Sorry, I just got excited about that.
That happens from time to time.
It does.
They occasionally don't flip a Delver.
I know that feeling very well.
But yeah, so you basically, the Chalice decks almost always have Chalice or some other lock piece on turn 1.
Right.
Like it's like a lot of, I don't know. No, there's the him.
We could call that, right?
That was not great.
We just gotta hope there's no surgical behind it.
I don't think so. I think he would have done it during our draw step.
That's true. Yeah, so I purposely didn't play any Moto while that was online because I didn't want to color my expectations for Niagara Falls. And obviously it had no effect because I crashed and burned Niagara Falls super hard. Oh, he missed again! Sorry.
Well, I mean, you're hitting on the key piece that I think a lot of people miss is that this was a 3-week period, right? So you really don't have a handle, and on top of that, everyone or a really large chunk of people were testing for Niagara Falls, and weren't testing decks that would abuse that because there's no London Mull at Niagara Falls. So during that 3-week period, when I did play a little bit, there was a ton of fair decks, a ton of Stoneblade, a ton of Blue White Delver, just a ton of fair blue decks testing, a bunch of Sneak and Show, a lot of other decks too. But it wasn't just the format trying to adjust to the London Mulligan. It was a handful of people trying to break the London Mulligan, but a lot of people testing for tournaments too. Yeah. So if that wasn't bad enough, there was 10 days of that before the GP, and then there was an entire weekend where everyone was at the GP, where there was a really small challenge where a ton of the people that would normally be in the challenge weren't because they were playing in a tournament. And then after that, they released a new set. So there was never a period where it was a settle anything, where you could really get a good feel for what would actually happen if that was implemented. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. So my issue with it is exactly like you said. It just seems like it gives combo decks a huge boost. And I just don't know how healthy that is for the format. Like, I don't want to play against a bunch of Chalice, like turn 1 Chalice decks that always had like that. So Zach Turgeon was on the cast a couple weeks ago, and he's a very good player. He's a Moon Stompy player or Dragon Stompy player, whatever. But he's a very good Magic player. Also, he plays all the formats for what it's worth, so he's very good. And he liked it because he felt like it makes the non-games you play fewer non-games. That's great. The miser stifle. That's so good. But yeah, so he thinks that you just play fewer non-games, but I feel like non-games are the price you pay for having like lock piece decks, combo decks, right? That's part like having that fail rate built into it is important, I think. And I don't know how like the London Mulligan.
I agree. I don't like
negating that.
I don't like the idea that it's just a super accelerate out of the format. And I think if you're just testing fair blue decks against fair blue decks or D&T or Maverick or these other decks that aren't trying to do anything, it's going to feel great. Yeah. So if you're testing it and like 1 to 2 weeks of the 3-week period is a bunch of that kind of Magic, I think it's going to feel great in the same way that
Yeah.
it might feel great for Standard or for Limited, where you're not running into the non-games. But this way, I think once more unfair decks creep into it, you're going to have a ton of non-games, just a different kind of non-game.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to mulligan into Oblivion where you go to 5, scry to the bottom, and never really get to play when your first land gets wastelanded. But you're going to run into the same handful of cards, and the games are going to be very repetitive compared to what they are now. And, to me, that I just don't find that appealing at all.
So Desideris said, like, let's not say combo decks. Well, when I mean combo decks, I mean, like, yes, lock piece decks, but I also mean like decks like Show and Tell, which is like an AB combo. So maybe not a deck like Ant or TES. It's a little bit more intricate, but like AB combo decks get very good. And Samurai, you said the counterpoint to the argument is that the London Mull is symmetrical, which it is. But here's the problem with that: is that like Black Red Reanimator gets to muddle the perfect hand, and a lot of times that includes a Chancellor, which negates any of your interaction. And you have to remember too that like some of these decks, like Black Red Reanimator, most decks don't have an answer to that to a resolved Grizzlebrand in the main deck. Most, some don't even have. Opponent doesn't get to mull to a leyline if they don't play a leyline main deck. You don't get to mull to a Graph Trigger's Cage if you don't have your Graph Trigger's Cage main deck. So, I just I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I really like the Vancouver Mulligan that we have right now. I would be down to try the London Mulligan for a time to see what happens, but I get really nervous. I don't know how good it is for the format.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is truth to what he's saying, and that you're going to get the decks that are playing against a narrow deck like Black Red are going to get to mull to their hate. But it just creates a lot of similar games where the games are about less and less cards. Like, do you really want to play a matchup over and over again where they're mulling to their perfect hand plus answer, and you're mulling to your ley lines, and every game revolves around, does your ley line stick, or do they find the answer to your ley line, or can you protect your ley line? Like, it's just the games become about a smaller subset of cards, and to me, I don't think over the long term that would be very good for the format.
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't love the idea of it, but I also feel like a little bit of a fraud because like I said, I played actual 0 games with it because I didn't want to pollute my whatever.
I actually don't think that matters right now because I think everybody's opinion is completely tainted, including my own, because I don't think it was a legit testing period. All the wastelands.
Oh my god.
3. Like it just. Yeah. I just yikes.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
This one's not going well. If it was a more stretched out period where there wasn't several major events in the middle, with a new set release and a Grand Prix that didn't use the rule, then we'd have more to work with. But and I don't think all of the combo decks that are going to get built around that rule in the long term are going to stick to hateable. There's degrees in hate. Like, obviously Black Red is a really obvious deck that you can hate on with a specific subset of cards. What happens if there's a combo that it's not nearly as easy to work around?
Right.
Or several that attack from different angles. Like, you can attack Black, Red, and Dredge, but then what if a Depth Shell becomes really obnoxious, or some sort of painter list, or some 4 or 5 different combo lists that all attack from different angles,
right? That
all continuously have what they need on turn 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not. And some people. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. Arkin did ask how we did at Niagara Falls, and myself, Arkin, Niagara Falls was the first Legacy GP, first major Legacy event I played in like the last year and a half, 2 years that I did day 2. I like went 0-3 drop. I crashed and burned super hard in the GP. It was like, honestly, I didn't feel bad about it actually. It was great. I had so much fun on the first day, and really enjoyed the rest of the GP. I just played a bunch of like the side events and stuff and had a good time hanging out with friends. So it was a disappointing like main event, but I had a blast. It was one of the best times I've had playing Magic in a while. So It was a good time, and we had a mansion. It was too bad you weren't there, Tom. We got like a straight up, we got a straight up mansion, man. It was crazy. We had 8 people in our house, and most of us had our own bedroom, even with 8 people. I had my own bedroom and an extra like queen size bed in my room. It was nuts. Samurai, I had I yeah, you're right. What I had for lunch was extremely important, and you can listen to the podcast and find out. People seem to enjoy my lunch story. While my castmate Jerry Me was top aiding GP Niagara Falls, I was eating a roast beef sandwich back at the house. So it was a good time. 3 balls doubled in price, really? That's wild.
Yeah, it was a grin because we were still dead, Tarm Goofy. I wasn't really a happy grin. Yeah,
it was a grimace. It was a grimace.
Yeah, we got play drawed. The triple wasteland on the play killing.
Yeah,
us.
that was pretty rough. That's pretty.
Us.
Yeah.
We actually maybe if I'd have kept bogging.
Eh.
I don't want this.
You did say that sometimes shrinking Tarmogoyf does come up.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had a window there where it would have gotten us through the 3 wastelands. We're really close to living the 3-2 dream, Pat. One more loss and we're there.
That's where I live, man. I actually went 2-3 the other day. 2-3 the other in the league. I feel you know what my problem is, Tom? Is that I get way too invested in my leagues. Like some people just like jam league after league after league and don't take losses personally. And I get very stressed out playing. Sometimes I can only play 1 game a day. I'll play 1 game of Moto and I'm like too stressed out afterwards and I have to turn off the computer and walk away.
How do you get know what it's like. How do you get that stressed out playing Delver?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's
play your guys, swing, tempo them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. In paper, I can play paper all day, right? I have no issue with it, but when I'm on Moto, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I feel like maybe because like the money feels more real in Moto than it does in paper. Is that weird? Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I just hate the feeling of losing. And I guess the other thing too is like, at least if I'm at a shop playing Paper Magic, I feel like I'm getting an experience. Whereas if I'm at home burning money away playing on my computer, it doesn't. I feel like I'm still like, I'm not getting the experience of being in a game store, hanging out with my friends. I'm just in my office being alone. It feels bad.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm getting into my deep thoughts tonight.
Tarma Goofy. Blue's been my thing. I've been on it for quite a while. I am very much on the blue plan in depths.
Yeah, Sedaris just said exactly what I was trying to get across. Don't just... Oh, I missed Delver flip again. I like this. That bodes well for us. Yeah, I mean, Moto's cool. Like, I'm not like I said, I'm not a person who plays like a lot of different decks. So like the interchangeability of cards in Moto isn't as advantageous to me as it is for other people. I like to play my one deck and, I like to make it look the way I like to look and get certain editions of cards that I like and things like certain languages that I like to collect. And so I enjoy that. I actually upgraded my basics to beta basics for Niagara Falls, and that was like a huge that was a very enjoyable moment. Arkin, where are you from? What's your community like where you're at?
What galaxy is he from? Is what you're supposed to be.
What galaxy?
Well, that's much more annoying than the Delver, so that gets to go.
I actually started playing Bitter Blossom as a one of in the sideboard of Blue Red, which I enjoyed. It was pretty good. Any reason why we didn't grab Underground Sea there?
On the off chance they wasteland a colored source on us,
Gotcha.
we have all the green tutors. We don't want to get cut off a green.
Makes sense.
It'll be unfortunate if later they happen to catch us. We draw a Flusterstorm or say, and they catch us with a Hymn or an Edict or something like that. But I think given what we have in our hand right now, I think we want to make sure we have as much green as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah, Arkin, we're lucky. I live out in Massachusetts, where I'm not super close to Boston. Probably like 45 minutes, a little over 45 minutes from Boston. But we have a really great legacy scene up in Massachusetts. I have like 2 or 3 shops close by to me that have legacy firing 2 to 3 nights a week. So we're very fortunate up here that we have an awesome legacy community. I love hearing about people building their local communities. It's great.
So Pat, what's
Yes.
great about Delver?
What's great about Delver?
Not only does it not flip sometimes, but sometimes they just elect to not attack with it too.
Wait, did it really?
Oh fuck!
Oh no.
Damn it.
We're just gonna naturally draw decay anyway, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, there's a whole one more left in the deck.
We're just gonna draw it next turn naturally.
Yikes. I mean, maybe... I don't know. I don't think there's a... Maybe we're supposed to just leave everything up and threaten a combo, but that seems so bad.
I think you're just gonna draw Dark Depths, and then you're gonna get Hex Mage, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, we haven't even seen their hand yet. They could very well have counter magic too.
Nah. We got it. Blast Zone will be pretty cool.
Yeah, Blast Zone is very clunky for this deck. I mean, in this kind of matchup, I wouldn't even bring it in. This has to be a one of. I don't know that I've ever seen more than one Needle on a Delver list. In fact, I would say most don't run it at all. So, yeah, I don't want to be bringing in a 3-tap activate land against a wasteland deck.
Mm-hmm.
Did kill an Endbringer with it earlier.
That was pretty interesting.
This is going
my
poorly.
goodness.
That doesn't matter at all.
That's a good point. Yeah. Would you crop rotate away a Thespian stage at this point?
If we
Yeah.
need it, right now there hasn't been a reason to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Say we draw. Well, so I guess if you do that now and have a blue source, if you draw exactly Hex Mage, we have Flusterstorm backup, but we can do that over 2 turns too. So I don't think that's worth. Look at that.
I told you we'd draw it. I was just a turn behind. My mistake.
So they haven't actually. Huh.
They have 4 cards in hand.
Yeah.
So they probably have Force of Will blue card, right? And then Edict. You like Underground Sea over Tropical Island here?
I think I'm gonna get Gemstone Mine
Oh, really?
to show every color. Maximum flexibility. The other option would have been to get Urborg. Shit, we're gonna get hemmed. God damn it. Oh.
I'm just watching my buddy play. You can stay up for a minute, okay?
Yeah, the problem with flustering here, though, is if he does have the force we lose anyway, to him fluster, to countering the crop or countering the... If we try to crop, we lose the Spell Pierce, too.
Show us strength. Him Torok. So you could crop rotate away for Underground Sea and storm it if you wanted to?
Yeah, the problem with... Well, I think we lose to... Now that he's cast this, I think we lose to Force of Will no matter what. So I don't think that's worth playing around anymore. The problem is if we crop rot, we lose to Spell Pierce too. Because if the crop rotation gets countered, he's hitting 2 of the 3 remaining cards in our hand. So we're going to be left with a land, a Flusterstorm that does nothing, or a Stray Hexmage that loses to Force of Will anyway. So...
But there's a chance he gets Gemstone Mine and crop rotation, right?
Yeah, sure. If he gets exactly, but then we don't even have the blue source for Flusterstorm anyway, unless we draw it. Unless we draw it next turn. So this is just ugly all around.
Yeah.
So I think we just.
I mean, you definitely want. Yeah, I feel like you definitely want. Well. Maybe you don't crop rotate because the chances of you keeping Hexmage in hand are higher if you don't crop rotate, right?
Well, that's only assuming the crop rotate doesn't resolve. If we keep Hexmage and he has a Force of Will, he's going to Force of Will Hexmage anyway. If we crop rot, like I think we lose the Force of Will regardless now that this is on the stack. So we let it resolve and.
Does the math work out better? Does the math work out better though if you just let him happen?
Well, I mean, you have a 50-50 shot at keeping exactly this, at which point we still lose.
Well, don't you only have a 25% shot of keeping Hexmage and Flusterstorm?
That's sure.
Is that how that math works? I don't know how math works.
I don't think it's 25%. No. No.
How many permutations are there? We keep 2 cards.
Whatever. If he beats us with Spell Pierce, so be it. Oh, this loses to double days too. God
There's a 33% chance. There's a 33% chance we keep Hexmage and Flusterstorm.
Yes. Yeah, it's.
I think it's 33%.
It is not 33%. We keep Hexmage and Flusterstorm. 25% is wrong in the too much direction. You're going the wrong way.
Hold on.
You're going the wrong way.
You can keep either crop rotation or Flusterstorm, crop rotation or Hexmage. Crop rotation or Gemstone Mine. Hold on, no wait. There's more permutations than that. Yeah, that's all of them, right? Hold on. Flusterstorm or Hexmage. Flusterstorm and Gemstone Mine. So there's 6. There's
somebody page Jarvis you. get the math major in here.
I've had too much booze to do math right now. I don't know, man. You're the expert. You go. You do what you think.
I'm not. I think casting crop rotation and then losing to Spell Pierce or double days is miserable. So I'm just gonna let it resolve. As miserable as this feels.
We're gonna keep Hexmage and Flusterstorm.
Could have been worse.
Oh, I was so close.
God damn it. Well, now we're casting.
Oh my goodness.
Now we're casting crop rotation.
Maybe he doesn't have it though.
I guess he doesn't have a counter. He may still have Diabolic Edict.
I mean, how many things can you play around, right?
Trying to
I think you're doing
maximize it
great.
here.
I think you're doing a good job here, Tom. I think you've navigated this very nicely.
Well, we're slamming it now. We don't have a choice. We have nothing
Yeah.
else going on. We're pretty much all right. Well, now we got Wasteland covered. All right, I guess counter magic or not.
Let him daze it now. Daze me, bro. Come on. Yes.
We're not good yet, Pat. They could have a lot of cards that mess this up. We lose.
Not listening to Pat's math was number one. That's true. I got it right eventually, right? You had a 1 in 6 chance of keeping both those cards exactly.
So here's what we got. I don't think this deck has basics. What do you think?
No, he's a rug deck. He doesn't have any basic.
So the question is, he hasn't played lands in a few turns. Do we take him off of a black source to cut him off of Liliana? And then just go for it? Or do we wait?
Well, it can't hurt, right?
Well, we lose to Liliana if we let him keep 3
No,
lands.
well, I'm saying, like, what's Ghost Quarter going to get if it doesn't get a black source right now?
Well, it protects. We can wait, see what they do, and play through Wasteland if he has yet another one, if he finds a third one.
If he hits a third Wasteland, with
so it's a matter of what we want to play
brainstorm
around.
Twice.
Do we want to see if he takes an action and then try and cut him off Edict, or do we want to like actual? Well, I guess we can't play around Edict no matter what.
No, we have no chance with Edict, right? So
I'm trying to think if there's a reason to wait.
I feel like you just waste a Underground Sea, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's why. I'm just trying to think of anything that I'm missing that he could have that would mess this up.
Look, I'm for sure. There's definitely something I'm missing. I'm sure, but I feel like
we're kind of boxed in. He's gonna get a couple of looks at lands anyway because he has a blocker currently. No basic. All right, show me the Edict. There we go. We have actual math going on in the chat, Pat. If you would like to,
hey,
if you would like to
said,
educate
right?
yourself.
There was a 1 in 6 chance. That's 1 in 6, right?
You said 25%. Then you
no,
changed
that was my first
then
guess.
you changed it. Then you
33.
changed it
I
to
said
33%.
Then I said 25, but then I said no. It's a 1 in 6 chance. All right, so there's Delta.
All right, that doesn't matter.
Okay. I like where we're at right now.
Tutor wins the game.
He buys himself right. Yeah, he bought himself a turn. Tutor or just naturally drawing Zajiri step.
That's the spirit, Pat. Now you're cooking. So I guess they could have 4th land Jace, but that would be super greedy in your Delver deck. Or you need
I don't think does Rug run Big Jace?
This is Bug, Pat.
Oh, that's what I meant. I meant Bug. Oh yeah, you're right. They do run Big Jace. This isn't Rug anymore.
So
Come on.
Here comes Jace.
Get the 4-1. Get the 4-1. Get the 4-1. Oh, he's attacking. That's a show of strength right there.
Doesn't have a choice.
That's a show of strength, I'm saying.
That was a forced play.
He doesn't have Big Jace. All right.
He hasn't conceded yet either.
I never concede. You always make him kill.
Nice.
Oh. Do we get it? Yeah. I'm like a second behind you. Yes.
Nice, Pat.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So what did they see? 8 wastelands that match?
They saw a lot of wastelands.
That was fun.
They
that
saw
was a fun match.
What, 3 in game 2?
3 in game 2, 2 in this game, I guess, and 2 in game 1. It was good times all around. So what did we lose to? Oh, we lost to the other Delver deck. We got wrecked.
We went 3 games in all of our wins though.
It's a slog. It's a slog, Pat.
Yeah, there was no easy. Yeah, man. Why don't you just play the faster depths deck, man?
Which faster depths deck?
I don't know.
This has Mox Diamonds. You don't get any faster than a 0 casting cost accelerant. I don't know what card you want me to run.
I don't know. Oh man, that feels good. It feels good to 4-1 a league.
I gotta tell you, Pat, it was much easier to win with Lawrence on Tuesday.
Well, yeah, because he was
What are
actually
you
helping
doing?
you. I'm just,
What are you
I'm just a
doing?
spectator.
We're removing you from the Leaving a Legacy mod chat
Okay,
until you get a little tighter, drink a little less. Yep.
it's understandable. I might have a problem. Listen,
So
man, I'm celebrating. This is a big week for me. I'm celebrating. I'm
I know you
celebrating
are.
a new job. I'm celebrating having a clean basement. Celebrating going 4-1 in the Magic Online League. It's pretty exciting stuff.
There you go, Pat. I'll tell you what. Since we 4-1 this league, you're next. Since you were talking about being a little stressed about the leagues, your next league's on me.
Oh,
So
thanks, buddy.
so you just can't. Actually, you know what? Run the new red guy in your deck.
The new red guy. All right,
It'll be a donation stream.
we'll try. We'll
Are you
try.
actually going to get back to stream if you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now that I start my new gig, I'll have nights free again, which is pretty exciting. So, yeah, I'm hoping to do like one night a week. I think that's pretty reasonable for me. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do too. I
yeah.
figure once a week is the sweet spot where
Yeah.
my better half won't want to kill me
Yeah.
for house use, and yeah, still get some action in.
Yeah. I like streaming. I think some people really love streaming. I enjoy it, but I think I want to play. I'm kind of like you. I want to play the deck that I really like playing. So for me, that's blue red, and like if people want to tune in for that, I'm all for it. But I don't think I want to go and play a bunch of different decks just because
Yeah.
it feels less comfortable to me to play something that I'm not totally familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, there's really only two reasons people would ever tune into a stream, right? It's because they think that the person's good with the deck and they're interested in how someone plays it, or they want to be entertained.
Sure.
It's basically the two things. So you've been on Blue Red Delver for a long time.
Yeah.
I've seen you play. I've played versus you. You're pretty proficient with it. So if I was tuning in, I would want it to either be a meme stream or you on the deck that you're really good with.
Yeah.
I think those are the two sweet spots, and
Yeah.
that's why I turn on streams anyway.
Yeah,
I watch.
I agree. Yeah, when I see someone like you streaming this, or I see Lawrence, not Lawrence, I see like Honorog who's treated miracles, or you know, someone who, like you said, someone who's really known for the deck. It's always really awesome to see. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get back to streaming. If you guys want to watch us, Jerry and I will sometimes. Well, usually me. Jerry doesn't really hop in very often, but twitch.tv/Leaving Legacy. But and we do the like the LAL opens. We have like quarterly opens up here. The last one was 153 players, and we stream those too. So that's always a really good time. I've enjoyed doing the opens with Jerry and gaming etc. up here in Massachusetts. It's been a lot of fun.
That's sweet. You have at Arkin. It's not an 80% win rate right now. Since the Mulligan rule came back, I think I'm much higher than that.
Oh, thank you, Leon. I appreciate that. We've had a really good time putting it on. Jerry and I put a lot of the Patreon money, not a lot, but we use some of the Patreon money that we get to kind of give back to the opens, and we buy packs from the store to give away, and we have a bunch of people who donate to do raffles for us, and we have headhunter prizes and stuff. And actually, Tom, you've donated a couple prizes for those events, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Arkin. I own Arkin. Jedi, they're weak.
Awesome.
Do you guys might as well plug it while you're here. Do you guys have any? Who's the guest this week for you guys?
So we actually had Josh Bingaman come on. The episode just posted today. Josh Bingaman is someone I met. I've known him on Twitter. We've kind of chatted back and forth a few times, but he is one of the originators, developers of Tin Fins and Bizarro Stormy. And I actually got a chance to meet him out in Niagara Falls. We had a great dinner together out at the casino. And we just had such a good chat that Jerry and I wanted to bring him on. And we had a really good time. We chatted for like, I don't know, an hour and a half or so about just like we talked about recent results and about Bizarro Stormy and Tin Fins and stuff, and we also just talked about like Magic Art and just stuff in general. One of the things I really like about the podcast is that it's not super like we don't relegate ourselves to just being like really technical and like breaking down the meta. We do that a little bit, but we're more about putting the spotlight on the community, other content creators, other players, and just friends that we have in the area. Honestly, for me, like Leaving Legacy is most fun when it's feels like a hangout and we talk Magic. It's not as granular as some of the other really awesome Legacy podcasts out there. So
Oh, I love your podcast. It's by far the easiest to listen to because you guys are just 90% of the time you're just having a blast. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
always enjoy it. Have you guys brought Jerry back from Cloud9 yet, or is he still still floating around in the atmosphere?
I have to say, like, I will give credit where credit's due. Jerry, like, none of him in top aiding Niagara when Jerry's I love Jerry. He's like one of my closest friends. I got to meet him because of Leaving Legacy. I met him when he was the host with the original co-host. Got to meet him and Adrian at my first ever Legacy event in Worcester, and yeah, his head did not get any bigger from top ending the GP. He's the same dude, and I feel like he got memed on so hard for so long because he loves Sneak and Show, and he like that his deck is all foiled out, and 4 and black border duels, and I mean it's pretty amazing, and he's good with the deck, but people like to meme on him for playing Sneak and Show, and I was really excited to see him do so well at a GP like that. It was pretty awesome. So, but no, he hasn't been what's the word, insufferable. He's been pretty great actually.
Yeah, that's good. He did. I mean, you're not kidding. Back in the day, I remember a year or two ago, it was just basically nonstop to the point where several posts about Ape and Show and everything else had to be taken down because it was just nonstop.
Yeah.
Like even in threads that weren't about it, it would just be brought up in the middle of a random conversation.
Yep.
And yeah, luckily that's really calmed down. I don't remember the last time I've seen anything like that.
Yeah, so Tom and I are talking about the Leaving Legacy Facebook page, which started out years ago as just to promote the podcast itself, but it's kind of grown into a small like legacy community in and of itself on Facebook. And Tom's one of our mods there. He does a great job. And yeah, there was a while where we had to weed out some toxic type of people, but for the most part, like I find the page to be extremely positive and very focused on the community, and it's generally, I think, a really, really great place if you're looking to get into the format or you want to meet people who play the format. People use it to find like rides to GPs and figure out logic and stuff like that. But it's also like one of the cool things is that a lot of people will cross post their legacy content on there. So like when you stream, I always encourage you to like post on the page, or like when Bryant Cook has a new article come up on the epicstorm.com, or when Julian releases another episode of Everyday Eternal, I always encourage those guys to post on the Facebook page and, let people know that they're doing stuff with Legacy. And as long as it's Legacy related and good people are behind it being good people, like I'm all about it. Like for me, it's not about, the page isn't just about the podcast anymore. It's about lifting up other people and giving other people the spotlight of the community, and using that little kind of community that we have there to, I don't know, spread the love around and get more people exposed to other content. And I think we do a pretty good job with that. I'm really excited. I'm really happy with the way that it works out.
Yeah, I think the site's great. I mean, you say that I do a great job with the mod, but I don't think I've taken a mod action in like a year and a half.
Yeah,
like the page is completely self-sustaining at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
almost,
Which is
there's
awesome.
very little. There's maybe like a conversation once every other month about a specific post, like, hey, should we leave this up? But other than that, the even though you have a really decent number of people in there, it just seems to be self-policed, and everybody's just there to have a good time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I feel very fortunate. Like it's a bummer I haven't got a chance to meet you in person. I'm really hoping to do that at some point this year, even if I have to come down to one of your locals. But I've met so many awesome people because this is like my one hobby, right? Like I go to the gym and like I do stuff with my kids, but like I don't have a lot of places where I meet people who are interested in my hobby. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of the Legacy community and get to meet all the awesome people who are part of it. Like you and Jerry are two good friends of mine, and I talk to a lot of you guys every day, and yeah, I just feel like I feel really lucky to be part of it, and Yeah, I think that's part of the strength of the Facebook page is that people in the Legacy community, I think in general, are pretty awesome. Most events, like I said, like I crash and burn out of GP Niagara Falls, but every opponent I had, be it day one of the event or any of the side events I played, were like really genuinely enjoyable people to play with. So I don't have that experience. I didn't have that experience all the time with other formats, and that's what I love about Legacy so much.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to find a tournament. Unfortunately, just the way the schedules have broke. That's a question I wanted to ask you. You guys got locked into the next Leaving a Legacy event because that was the only, that was like the only date available. Somebody said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like so the store that we run them at, she also obviously runs like other like formats. So trying to find a time when because they have room for like 500 people in that store. The place is massive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. Like we fit 153 people in there for the last open, and there was still another room that they hadn't even opened the doors to. So yeah, they have room for like a massive amount of people there. But yeah, so I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, what were we talking about?
We're talking about the dates essentially.
Oh right, yeah, sorry. So like I know Jeremy's thing is the 27th, which is like which is the following week. Obviously, we're on July 20th, and then like you said, there's Atlanta, which is coming up in September. Eternal Weekends in October. But yeah, so it's tough. It's unfortunately, like people are like, oh, there's a team. The team event is that weekend, I believe.
Yeah, you asked.
Weekend,
you
right?
you asked earlier tonight when Philly was. That's when it is. That's the team event. Yeah. So that's
which is a bummer.
Yeah,
which is a bummer, but like I said, we'll figure it out. And yeah, and thank you, Luna. I appreciate the good word. Yeah, honestly, the open, like Jerry and I, like I go in there and I set up all the broadcasting stuff and I set up the feature match area, but Michelle and her team at Gaming Etc. really run the show for the open. So they do an awesome job there. Jerry and I are just kind of like the pretty faces they put on the screen, and we really love that store. That's another reason why we do the opens there, is because we love Michelle and her crew so much that it was a way for us to kind of support our local game store. And Jerry and I don't make any money off the event. We don't take any cut of the entry. We actually spend money to buy packs for the people who do the headhunter stuff for us, and yeah, we do charities through there and stuff, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. So, but yeah, Tom, we have to get you up to one of them, or at least Jerry and I will have to come down to a Philly event. We'll have to arrange something.
Yeah, you're obviously going to miss the next Philly event since it's the Clash. Yeah. But
sadly.
But I'm probably going to make it to one of. I don't think I'm going to be able to do both because they're back-to-back weekend. Like there's that 4-week stretch in October where it's online playoffs.
Yep.
Worcester, GP Atlanta, Eternal Weekend. So I'm probably going to make one of either the SCG Legacy Open or the GP. So I don't know if you're gonna make one of them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're able to figure out which one you'll do, I will do my best to be at that one, whichever one it is.
I'll definitely be able to do one, but not both. That was part of when I ended up skipping Niagara Falls. That was part of the setup. Was there's a handful of times I can make this work a year, and I was gonna do one of them. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's also the tough thing about being a Legacy player too, is that a lot of us are adults. We have ships and people that rely on us for support, and that's just kind of part of it, right? So yeah, trying to get our, like, the fact that I was able to make it to Niagara Falls was like was crazy. Like I had no intentions on going because it was Easter weekend, and then my wife was just kind of out of the blue and said, you should really go to Niagara Falls, all your friends are going, it sounds like it'd be fun. So so I got to go out to that, but I was not even expecting to go out to that event. So it's tough. I can't make it to every paper event I like to, but we'll definitely make one happen this year, Tom, because we have to get together. We have to have a Jerry dinner together. And
I actually have met Jerry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you met him in, was it Seattle?
No, I can't make Seattle. Richmond.
Oh, Richmond. That's right. Yeah. That's right. So yeah, we'll have to make something work, man. I'm committed to it for sure.
We're being mocked as adults in the chat, by the way.
Hey, listen, I'm up at 11 o'clock at night, drinking liquor and playing Magic with my friends. Yeah, hey, Matt, don't even start about Lab Man. I will flip my computer over. I'll be very upset.
There was a sequence earlier tonight where we thought we were dead to Lab Man. It didn't end up happening, but That's what I thought was about to happen.
We ended up winning that. We won that one though. When we thought we were gonna die to lab, man, it was great.
Yeah, Cedrus, I was at Richmond. It was an interesting tournament where I went 5-3 and literally punted all three of my losses, like with just brain dead decisions. And I got to play some really awesome people. I got to play I'm gonna say his name wrong, but everybody probably knows him better as 42 AD. I got to play him in that tournament. He flew over from Europe for the tournament. It's just, even when you don't do well, those events are awesome. So
Yeah, that was my experience at Niagara Falls. Like I said, it was I don't know, playing Legacy GP. Like, GPs are not my favorite way to play Magic, but they are my favorite way to meet people who I've been wanting to meet in Magic. So it's like a good trade off for me, I think.
exactly. And the people are just great. Like, when I sat down, you're playing against someone that literally flew from another continent to play in this event. And, he had, it was a tight match and it could have gone either way, and it ended up not breaking his way. And it was next to last round, and it was a knockout match essentially. And he could not have possibly been nicer to talk to. Like, we recognized just based on each other's decks, because he runs some interesting choices. Like, we knew who each other were, not by name, but by decks.
That's
like,
amazing.
he runs such an odd version of Ant that was like, "Are you 42 AD?" And he's like, "Are you Negator?" And it's like, and then you have like a 20-minute conversation after the match is over from somebody that just essentially got knocked out of the tournament after traveling several thousand miles.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that kind of experience.
No, there's no other format where you get that experience, right?
The
It just doesn't
community is
happen.
insane. So, yeah.
That's one of the nice things too about Legacy, is that it's not a format you can really grind, right? Like, people grind Modern, they grind Standard, they grind Limited, which I get. Like, they travel to all the SCGs and they're trying to get in the leaderboards. But like, if you're playing in a Legacy GP, like, we know what you're about. We know you love the format for the most part. Most of those people are just Legacy nuts. And my I've only had, like, honestly, I've played in 3 or 4 Legacy GPs at this point, and a bunch of Legacy Opens, and then a bunch of, like, 50 to 100 man tournaments in this area. And I've had unpleasant, like, the amount of unpleasant opponents I've had, I could probably count on maybe 2 hands, but most likely 1 hand. Opponents who were just not super nice. But like, the vast majority of people I play with are just awesome people. It's like I said, I feel very lucky to be part of the community, and I really just, I have a ton of fun with it.
Yeah, the community is great. Even the people, it seems like part of it's the format too. I think it draws a type of person that, even if they're not a Legacy specialist or into Legacy, when they play it, it's like a more experienced Magic player. Like, also in Richmond, I played Seth Manfield, and we were in a game 3 where he ended up thought seizing me and had a win on board in 2, and I basically had nothing, and I had to runner exact cards. Like, it literally needed to be like Stage Urborg to be able to combo, and I drew exactly Stage Urborg back to back, and he could have drawn anything. Any other creature would have stopped it, any Wasteland would have stopped it, an Edict would have stopped it, Bitter Blossom would have stopped it, and he just drew land, and I runnered him, and he sat around and talked for like 10 minutes after the match about like things he could have possibly done better. And it's like the whole experience, like, win or lose in these matches, was just great, and I wish I could do it more. So I think
that's awesome.
I think of all of them, I'm probably going to try and make Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, I talked to my wife about that one. I'm gonna run it by her again, because if Atlanta's the one that you're gonna make, then
you're gonna make your travel plans based on the event that I'm going to attend.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like, if I'm like, all right, I can one big Legacy event in the fall, and Tom Hepp is gonna be at the one in Atlanta, then I have to go to Atlanta, right?
What if the only one that I'm gonna go to is the Philly, and that's during your leaving a Legacy tournament? Are you gonna skip that?
Man, I'm gonna have to Skype in to the tournament and come to Philly. We'll figure something out, man. I'm gonna figure out a way. Like, if I have to come down if I have to come down, and I'll come down and stream with you. We'll stream a Magic Online League, and I'll sit in your living room. We can hang out. We'll make it happen one way or another.
Yeah. Luino, I would not make that work if it's your wedding anniversary. That's a fast way to not have it be your wedding anniversary anymore.
It'll be the last time it's your wedding anniversary.
Yes. That's great.
Man.
Oh, I think I missed I was going to get back to it. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. They asked earlier, if I'm siding out Needles against Miracles, due to them having more walkers. And yeah, I still don't like Needles versus Miracles. Against Miracles, I'm boarding out all of the Mox Diamonds because the matches are often slower, and then I'm boarding out the Needles in one of the maps. So I'm basically going down to one artifact, which I can control whether I leave it exposed or not. And for whatever reason, probably because of cards they see out of Slow Depths and other cards they're concerned about, including Pithing Needle, I normally see Disenchant in some numbers out of Miracles. They keep Council's Judgment in. So to the extent that I can, I want to blank those cards. And Needle's not even good against some of their Planeswalkers. Like if they have Narset, it still shuts off the Brainstorms regardless of whether you Needle it or not. And they're going to get a use out of it unless you preemptively do it. Teferi still shuts off the instant speed interaction. So the only card it's actually good against is Jace, which we hope to either pressure them with the combos that they can't tap 4 mana without exposing themselves to Flusterstorm, Crop Rotation, just basically dying, rip it out of their hand, that sort of stuff, or kill it with Hexmage in a pinch. But I just don't find Needle does enough in the matchup to justify it. And there's just better cards. So if we're shaving, basically the lands more or less stay the same against Miracles, maybe cut a land. The diamonds come out, so you have 4 slots. And then the artifacts can come out, so you're like 7 or 8 slots. Flusterstorm's outstanding against them, Safekeeper's outstanding, Surgical's outstanding, and you want probably a couple of Ks, so you probably want this whole pile against Miracles. So to justify keeping Needle in, something in this pile or something in the rest of the deck would need to go, and I don't think Needle's better than anything else. Yeah, so if the board out's like essentially, I'm gonna need to undo this before I rejoin a league, but so if the board is so it's questionable. Buck's still pretty good, so if you shave a land. So from here, you still have to cut a card in this spot, which is a tough cut. Do you shave a Brainstorm? Do you cut the last map? Let's say it's the last map. So what would come out to keep a Needle in, essentially? I think basically all of these cards are excellent in the matchup, or necessary.
The interaction on Teferi where it stops the instant source, is that an ability or is that a plus or is that a static ability?
That's static. The plus is letting them play cards at instant speed, so they can literally Terminus you or Ponder or Council's Judgment. There was Lawrence and I played versus Miracles on Tuesday, and we had a game that like got extended to like turn 14 or 15 before we set up a Flusterstorm kill. After Hexmaging their Teferi, because they were literally sitting behind Council's Judgment at instant speed.
Jeez.
So yeah, we left it early because we had to either take a Narset that was going to come down and basically dig through time, or take the Teferi. So we left the Teferi. Or not the Teferi. We left the Council's Judgment. Left the Council's Judgment. They drew into Teferi and just sat behind it, and we never found a discard spell. So it took a while. We eventually found Hexmage to get it off the board, but yeah, if it would be somewhat relevant to shut them off of a line like that. But Council's Judgment's like a 1 or a 2 of. They're not really going to be able to cast Terminus at instant speed for 6 realistically. They might be able to put it on top and set up a Ponder with it during our upkeep. That would be annoying. But I don't even know that Teferi's standard at this point. I think it's like between 0 and 2 copies in the list.
Yeah, and listening to Wilson on Eternal Glory. Sorry, he's like very much off Teferi. He doesn't think it's a very good card at all. So I'm not sold that Teferi is going to be an auto include in the Miracles lists.
I mean, it's a space issue. There's so many good cards in that list. Like Narset is excellent. So you have Narset that's excellent. You already have Mentor that's excellent. You have Jace. There's only so many slots that the same handful of cards are fighting for. I mean, I guess you can go full on Super Friends and run 8 Planeswalkers or whatever the number is to jam.
Yeah, but that's like that also like
I don't think that's
at that
better.
point you have to cut a lot of your air, right? Like you have to.
It clunks the deck up a little bit, yeah. And for us, one of the strategies we have against them anyway is to set up a combo early. So set up a turn 2 to 4 combo and make it difficult for them to play their cards without dying to a protect, like a Lodge Crop Rotated protected, or Lodge Flusterstorm protected, or a Safekeeper floating out, or extracting their swords, or the discard. Basically, we're trying to put them in a threatened position from like turn, just say 3, more often than not, on where how many windows are they going to get to resolve a 3 or 4 casting cost Planeswalker. So if they start increasing the numbers to an unreasonable amount, I think that really exposes them. But I don't know. I doubt many Miracles players are concerned with this matchup. They see it once every 3 months or whatever when they run into me. Yeah. Or one of the 2 other people that play it online. But
I'm sure they know you by name at this point.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? Should I just register for a league like this, pre-boarded versus Miracles, and see what happens?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it would be real bad for you.
I bet a lot of people would be pissed about being surgical in game 1.
One of my favorite things about the deck is the Miser Stifle, because I've seen it come up on occasion, and one of the, like, Jerry and I were talking about this on the cast the other day, like sometimes like Stifle is best when it's a 1-of, because when they see it as a 1-of, they think you're running it as a 3 or 4-of, and like you just get that equity of people thinking that you're running more copies than you actually are, which is always pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, the Stifle is not random though. Like, it looks like a random 1-of, but it's really a Pithing Needle. So it's the 3rd Pithing Needle. You just don't want this. You don't want this card main deck really, because it stinks versus a handful of combo decks. Like, it's just, you see this in your hand versus Storm, and you just want to just concede or mull it right away. Like, okay, I guess I'm naming your fetch land. And there's other matchups where it's just not good or not really necessary. And, or Black-Red's killing you on turn 1, or Gristlebrand comes down right in front of it, or something along those lines. Hackbird is really trying to troll you.
I was gonna make that comment.
I went the entire night without saying that. So
listen, Matt, that was a very proud moment of my life. That was one of the worst plays I've ever made in a game of Magic. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great.
Is the video still around for that?
I'm sure it's somewhere. I still have the video. Someone clipped me I was streaming Sneak and Show. This was probably like a year and a half ago. Sneak and Show, and I jammed. I was playing against like Moonstompy, and I jammed a Show and Tell into what's the white black bouncy guy? What
white
shit.
Black?
Yeah, it's Ashen Rider. I jammed Show and Tell, and my Grizzlebrand got Ashen Rider. So, and then the next turn I naturally drew another Brainstorm, and naturally drew another Show and Tell, and I Show and Telled an Emrakul, and my Emrakul got Ashen Rider. It was pretty hilarious. It was pretty hilarious.
All right, now it's being prompted, so I guess we just have to tell the story. No, Ashen Rider exiles too, not bounces.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Way more devastating than bounce.
Whatever it was.
So
I can't remember, but it was like I got back to back Ashen Rider to start.
So basically, the short version of the story is we were playing versus Tess, and we had them dead in two turns, but we drew a Pithing Needle, so we wanted to name their secondary land, and the secondary land was Scalding Tarn. So Pat may or may not have typed. He may not. My computer wasn't good enough to stream at the time, so Pat was streaming. We shipped the cards to Pat, and he was doing the clicking and the typing. So he typed,
which clearly we should know I can't be trusted.
So we had a Polluted Delta in play, and he typed in Polluted Delta. So that put us a turn behind. So the following turn we have an Urborg in hand, so we're still going to be okay. We can still kill them in two. But we drew and he played a second Polluted Delta. so we gave them another turn. And someone that was watching the stream was friends with the person that we were playing against. I forget who it was. But it turns out that they ended up killing us on the last possible turn because we gave them we time walked ourselves twice essentially. But the person contacted their friend and sent the screenshot, and their friend had 3 scalding tarns in their hand, and that was what enabled them to have enough mana to kill us today.
Oh, it was so good.
It was
so good. I
great.
can't be trusted to click things anymore or type.
It wasn't
things
even
in
a click. Yeah, it was. I think it was just the conversation was more general before Scalding Tarn was said out loud. It was like, well, this card does nothing in the matchup, like we were just discussing. Right. So we have to name a fetch land. Like, what are the fetch lands in the deck? And then I was like, well, what's the secondary one? Because we had the Delta. So that was the conversation. And people have named Pithing Needle with Pithing Needle on Moto. Like, it happens. Like, your brain just melts. And yeah, it is what it is. It
was funny. I mean, it was hysterical. I mean, I have fun when I play Magic. That's the reason why I play the game. So when I completely buff things, it's hilarious to me because I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I don't get upset about it. Some people get really sensitive about that stuff. I thought it was hilarious, and you took it very well. You just we're just cackling, and
it was what it was. I mean, how can you not laugh at a certain point? Yeah. Like there's okay, we're gonna lose a match, so what?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but I'm sure that clips. I'll have to see if I can link the page because it's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to dig it up. But to polish off the stifle thing, I mean, it does everything Needle does. So it stops Wasteland. I mean, obviously it's susceptible to some soft counter magic, but it stops Wasteland. It's a virtual time walk. We're a fast combo deck that's going to set up a combo turns 2 to 4. Hitting a fetch land and basically putting them a full turn behind. Could just shut the door on so many decks. It's great against all the control decks, hitting their lands, hitting their Snapcasters. And then obviously it has text for Storm, which this does not. Yep. So, it's basically just a glue card that just does so many different things. I've hit Planeswalker ultimates with this. It's just solid all around.
Yeah.
And you don't really, everything else is narrow. You can't run more of the core cards, and 8 tutors, you don't really want to get tutor flooded. You don't really want to get discard flooded. There's diminishing returns on all of those cards at a certain point. So, I mean, what serves multiple purposes? It's similar. It's almost similar to, you'd be stunned the amount of times that this thing gets Force of Willed. You hit their first land, and it's like, they can't daze it. They don't have a, blue source in play, and or it just sets in the back full turn. It's just very, very good. I don't think I'd ever want a second, but as essentially a floating third Needle before you sideboard in against Delver decks and things like that, I think it's very good.
It definitely came up at least twice where we stifled wasteland activations, which, like you said, itself being like a wasteland is a huge deal in protecting your lands. So yeah, it's I call it the miser stifle, but it definitely we even just tonight, like I said, even just in 5 matches, you saw the utility come out quite a few times. So it's obviously a great inclusion of this deck.
Yeah, and like you said, what you were talking about, once they see it, they play around it, which messes up their ponders, it messes up their brainstorms. You start getting them to preemptively crack a fetch that they weren't going to. That stuff matters over the course of a bunch of matches.
Absolutely, yeah. The little edges, man.
Yep, you just pick it up here and there. And yeah, so anyway, this is a full leg for you. What'd you think?
What's that?
What'd you think of the deck overall?
I like it. I that's the thing, is I really enjoyed playing the deck with. I would play it again. I definitely want to stream with you again because I really enjoy streaming with you and have fun with the deck. I just don't feel comfortable playing it solo. I just feel like some of the lines I just don't see. Although I'm getting a little more comfortable with seeing the crop rotation for the steps and stuff. And but yeah, I do like the deck a lot. I think it's pretty sweet. I think it's in a good position right now too.
All right. Well, if you ever want to reverse it and take a crack at it where I sit in on your side.
Oh God.
On your stream.
I like watching. Remember the last time?
I don't know. It was more than once. We did it 2 or 3 times, and it was only a disaster once. I think it went pretty well the first couple of times, right? Or
yeah, that's true.
One of the times.
Yeah. We'll run it back for sure, 100%.
All right. Well, I guess I'm ready to call a night if you are.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been up since 4:00, so I'm ready for bed myself.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. It was a blast as always. Every time I do something with you, I have a good time.
Yeah, same, man.
So-
Like I said, anytime you want another you want more company, please let me know. I'll be 100% happy to. I really enjoy
Well, I
hanging
think
out with you, and
I'm good. Sorry.
yeah, and I enjoy hanging out with you, and it seems like the stream went really watching. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had fun. I mean, that's the idea. Is I don't feel I'm not 100% comfortable streaming yet. I'm still working my way into it, so I'm gonna try and do it with people for a little while until I get my sea legs, so to speak.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think it's great. I'm very happy to see you streaming too, because I think you have I think your expertise is very useful in the legacy community, and I think people need to see you play this deck because the deck's sweet and you're good at it.
I think with a little bit of elbow grease, we can turn this from a deck that like 4 people play to a deck that like 6 people play.
I like that.
I think we can do it.
I'll be number 5 or 6, and I'll keep the win rate mediocre so that it doesn't.
I lost you there for a second.
Oh, sorry. I said I will be the 5th or 6th person to play it, and I'll just make sure that the. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. I said I'll be like the 5th or 6th person to play it, and I'll just make sure to keep the win rate mediocre so it doesn't get hated out of the.
Good times. All right, well,
Awesome.
if I don't talk to you before, good luck. Good luck with the new job. And,
Thanks, man.
Looking forward to next cast.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime.
All right, take it easy, man.
I see it.
Later. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.